Due to technical problems during the recording process, this episode of the Bakagaijinshow contains irregular audio levels. We apologize for the inconvenience. Regardless, please enjoy the episode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Baka Gaijin Show. I'm your lovable rascal of a host, Zeke, and with me, as always, is my inconvenienced co-host, Kevin Faulkner.
Oh, I am so inconvenienced right now. And you are too!
We are inconvenienced together.
And the dog won't shut the fuck up.
He's inconvenienced by existing.
To be fair, who isn't inconvenienced by existing?
I'd be more inconvenienced by not existing.
True.
Yeah. That would really interfere with my plans to do anything.
Yeah. But yeah, Discord's fucking down right now. We have to do this through Google Chat.
Yeah.
Now,
On the plus...
Good. Like, you won't hear a difference. You won't hear a difference. But this is annoying for us.
A bit. On the plus side, though, nobody else fucking uses Google Chats, so we should have, like, the crystal clearest connection possible.
We have all the bandwidth in the world.
We're just you're coming along on a ride with us. We're driving on the cosmic highway. Usually, like, there's some congestion here and there, but today it's just open roads. We're on the back roads, Kevin. The cosmic back roads where no one dares to tread.
Kind of are.
This is a perfect place to just kidnap, rape, and ditch the body. Space, where no one can hear you scream.
That is the tagline.
Yep.
Alien, 1979, I think?
Yes.
Okay.
That was the tagline of Alien?
Yes, it was.
Are we sure that phrase didn't exist before then?
I'm not sure. Oh, I'm not sure.
That's a good question.
Oh, it is.
I feel like that had to have existed before that, but
I
don't know. I don't know. The movie came out fucking 15 years before I was born, but somehow I feel like it's older than that.
It could have originated there. I don't know. I'm going to have to look that up later.
That's crazy. It
is crazy. I'll look it up between segments.
We ask the deep philosophical questions here on this podcast. But anyway, we haven't recorded in a little bit because of circumstances. Both his and her circumstances, which you'll never know.
Unless we tell you.
Yeah, we'll probably tell you. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, so, Ash, like my sibling, and their whole fucking family was off in Arizona to deal with my mom's memorial service and, figuring out who gets what of her shit.
Yeah.
So,
what are you getting, by the way?
I don't know. Ash hasn't exactly told me, but we found my old birth certificate, despite the fact that I had to order a new one that cost us like fucking $60 to do.
Damn, paper's getting expensive.
Specifically,
we're running out of trees to cut.
Specifically, government paper. Government paper in particular.
Yeah, that's federal paper.
Yep, federal paper, federal money, more problems. Yeah, I was.
In my experience, it's been less money, more problems in my experience.
True. Well, it's more money for them, but less money for us because we're giving them
maybe.
More money.
Yeah. So yeah, it seems like whether you have little money, a bit of money, or a lot of money, you have problems. Maybe the cause of problems is just money.
I think you cracked the code. I think you finally
did it. I did it.
It's money that's the problem.
Economists the world over are killing themselves as we speak. Their entire lives are a lie.
I can't believe it.
This just in: local podcaster Zeke Freak exposes the capitalist regime.
We do that every day.
Yeah, but this time, we did it succinctly and with purpose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now that said, I was left at home for 11 days straight.
Yeah.
Left to my own devices, and unfortunately, I was dealing with a very yappy puppy, and that would have just been super annoying to have to constantly tell him to shut up every 10 minutes. while recording podcasts, so
yeah,
I figured best just to not.
I told him to lock him outside, but Kevin's like, no.
There's a forest out there!
See, this is your fault for not building a fence.
No, it's my landlord's fault for not building. Okay, my former landlord. Like we got in here, and like a month later, it got transferred to like another company. But like, it's my former landlord's fault for not building a fucking fence. Don't put this on me. I don't own the property.
Always shifting the blame.
Yeah, I'll shift the blame as much as I fucking want.
It's the forest. It's the foxes. It's my landlord.
My name is Lorax. I speak for the trees. Don't talk shit or I'll break your fucking knees.
Right, so apparently since locking him in a box wasn't an option, we just decided not to record that weekend.
Yeah, it would have been too much of a fucking hassle, because lock him away in his kennel, he'll start yipping and howling and shit. Fucking leave him out to his own devices, he'll start
because Kevin didn't splurge for the soundproof kennel. Of course.
What the fuck?
You've never seen a soundproof kennel?
No, what the hell?
It's like a regular kennel, except it's buried underground.
Yeah, kinda can't really splurge for that.
Can't even buy a shovel, this man.
That's not a good thing.
It's a good thing to own a shovel.
It's
Shovels
a good
are
thing
useful.
To own a shovel, but not to bury your dog alive.
Well, if you do it well enough, they'll still be alive by the time you dig them back up. You gotta get air holes, Kevin. Air holes. Stick some straws in the ground.
I am learning so many new things about you, and I'm not sure I like them.
You just gotta get some metal straws, stick them in the ground. It's easy.
People just walk by. Why is the ground barking?
Well, okay, so clearly it would be muffled enough. Like, the whole point of this exercise is to muffle it so we can record a podcast. So, hopefully passers-by don't hear anything.
I mean,
and if they do,
hope.
If they do, they're just gonna assume it's a dog that's farther away, you know?
Until they get close enough and they're like, why is the ground barking?
Why are they getting so close to your yard, Kevin?
I have neighbors!
Did they just walk in your yard?
It's a communal yard!
Not if it had a fence, it wouldn't be. This all comes back to your refusal to get a fence.
It's not my refusal, it's the landlord!
They're not even your landlord anymore. They have no power here.
It's the new landlord's problem. And guess what they haven't
Have you
done?
Have you asked the new landlords about a fence, Kevin? I'm willing to bet $1,000 you have not asked your new landlords about a fence.
So what have you been up to, Zeke?
Well, enjoying my nice fence life, having a fence, owning a fence, you know. I'm about all things fence lately.
Of course.
I painted that fence myself, you know.
Ah.
Way back in the olden times, I don't know, fucking 2013, I think.
The olden time. To be fair, this pandemic does make everything seem like it's going a lot slower.
To be fair, Kevin, 2013 was almost a decade ago.
Yes, also true.
Welcome back to the bakagaijinshow, where we remind you each and every week that you're going to die someday.
One day. Everybody has their moment. Yours is coming soon.
We're gonna have the fucking... Actually, that's a good question. No. I was gonna say we're gonna have our 10-year anniversary before our 100th episode, but I feel like we're probably gonna hit 100 before then.
I feel like we're probably gonna hit 100 before then. We're going at a pretty steady clip at this point. We're almost to number 70.
Yeah. Ah, damn. It's a shame our Shana episode was not episode 69. God damn it.
Nice.
That was... Actually, we gotta figure out what to do for next time. What are we gonna do next week? We gotta make it special for 69. What are we doing?
That's a good question. What are we doing? I'll
I
let
have
you
no
brainstorm
idea.
that.
I have no idea.
You know how this works. I have no commitment.
That's exactly true. If we had like a fucking Venn diagram of podcast topics I came up with and podcast topics you came up with, it'd be like comparing the sun to Mercury.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. I can't remember. When was the last time you had an idea for this show, actually, now that I think about it?
I don't want to... I'm not sure.
Well, part of the problem is that we've done it so piecemeal over the years. are so like on and off that I like anything before the most recent iteration, the most recent rebooting of the podcast is a blur to me.
We've done it like 3 times at this point.
Yeah. I don't fucking remember. What were we talking about?
What have you been up to?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that thing we always talk about in the
Exactly.
first segment.
It's what we normally do.
68 episodes, and we can't even get our own fucking formula straight. That's just the Bakagaijin experience. See, whenever we fuck up, we just have to rebrand it as like the intended experience, and then it's all good.
No,
it's
this
all
is
good.
what's supposed to happen.
This is part of the charm. This is part of the charm. You know, it's the aesthetic. I think we used to pride ourselves on never staying on topic, and now we have the structure. It's weird.
Now we have topics.
Yeah, I mean, we had more topics before, and then we decided that was dumb, and we actually, well, it was more the fact that we spent the first like 15 episodes blowing through multiple episode-defining topics in one go.
Yeah, that was really the biggest issue.
That was dumb.
Yeah. We ran out of shit to talk about really damn fast.
Look, I was a young man, and I thought, you know what people want? They want just topic, shotgun all the topics. You know, I think I just figured that I could, because you know we were inexperienced in the podcast game. I mean, I only had a little bit. You know, I'd only been podcasting a little while when we started, so like I didn't have as much experience, and I just thought, how does a podcast work? Well, we just have a bevy of topics. Now I've realized that you can just read shit off Reddit, and that's a podcast.
Yep.
So
amazing
there
what
you go.
goes for content these days.
Incredible. Indelible. I gotta stop using in words. I gotta save those. Yep. So what have you been doing this week?
Quite a bit. If you'll just give me a second, I need to check something right here.
He's got to check on his very much still above ground dog, for better or worse.
Oh, shut up. Okay, well, the last week has been eventful in terms of me actually doing shit for once. I blew through the main story mode of Pokemon Legends Arceus. Or
yes,
Arceus,
I saw that.
or whatever the fuck. I haven't done the post-game, because that requires you to catch all the Pokemon in the game, which is like some 200 whatever, and I have like 100 or something. So I'm like halfway there.
They're actually requiring that now?
Well, if you want to get like the true, it's one of those if you want to get the true ending of the story kind of deals.
Yeah.
But yeah, I need to finish the Pokedex and capture Arceus. You know, I need to catch God.
Is there actually like a true ending, or is it just like a fucking is catching all the Pokemon to get the true ending just literally just like, you caught all the Pokemon, good job, young sonny boy?
No, there's like actual like genuine story content afterwards after you fix the sky. So
what's wrong with the sky?
Oh, you know, Dialga and Palkia know the Lords of Space and Time, kind of get into a kerfuffle. Reality starts to break apart at the seams. You kind of have to fix it. The entire sky goes fucking purple.
I think Rayquaza is going to have some issues with that.
Yeah, but we don't listen to Rayquaza in the Hisui region.
So let me get this straight. One alien comes through the sky and Rayquaza throws a bitch fit for the ages, but all of time and space gets rendered asunder and he's just quiet.
Ah, shit, not those bastards again. I'm not dealing with that crap.
Like, we have already established in the lore that Rayquaza is a temperamental bitch who throws a fucking hissy fit if one alien comes through his sky.
Yeah, but
now apparently you can just wreck shit and it's fine.
Yeah, but I think you also have to understand that, again, Dialga and Palkia are the Lords of Time and Space, so they're probably a little bit above what Rayquaza wants to deal with, so he probably sees that shit and he's like, okay, even I have limits. No.
Yeah, I guess this is the direct result of power scaling legendaries, huh?
A little bit. But that said, Legends Arceus is fucking great game.
Sure.
It's really nice to play a Pokemon game that actually feels like Game Freak isn't just resting on their laurels and isn't just regurgitating the same gameplay formula over and over. This is genuinely a new experience for the series. And from what I've seen, the next games, Scarlet and Violet look to take a lot after Legends Arceus in terms of gameplay design.
I'm sorry, I can't stop thinking about how no one uses the word laurels except in the phrase "rest on their laurels."
Yep.
I don't even know what a laurel is at this point. It's just something you rest on, or don't, apparently.
Laurel is also typically said in contrast to hardy.
Now, I've heard you talk about how innovative and different Legends Arceus is, but let me ask you a question, Kevin. Does it have a jetpack?
This is
because San Andreas had a jetpack, so try again.
Pokemon. You know what? That's the next thing we need. Pokemon needs a jetpack.
Exactly.
But it does have a Pokemon that you can fly with.
Well, we've had that since all of them, actually.
Yeah, but like you can't control where you fly. But here, like, you can.
Yes, you can. You literally select the destination.
No. That doesn't fucking count because it's all automated. You don't actually control it.
Your exact words were you don't control where you fly.
Exactly.
You do control where you fly. You just don't control. You do control where you fly. You just don't control how you get there.
You direct your Pokemon to go to a place and it just goes. You don't tell it what to do. I mean, you do, but like...
You tell it exactly what to do. Go to this place.
The point is...
Don't fucking argue words with me.
There's more freedom. There's a lot more freedom.
Sure.
And I really like it. And I think it's a great addition to the series.
Uh-huh.
And I'm glad that Scarlet and Violet is taking the gameplay of Arceus and expanding it further. Arceus is, like, it's not a full open world. It's more like Monster Hunter, where you have... fucking heartburn.
I've never played Monster Hunter, so I don't understand this reference.
Well, I'm about to explain it, bitch, so strap in.
Okay, fine.
Monster Hunter, basically, you have a single hub village or town where you do all of your business. You know, you do your crafting, you do your selling, you do, like, quest line shit.
Sure.
And then you have these large, expansive areas that you travel to from the village that are, like, each individual areas. They're not connected.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Scarlet and Violet is, like, an actual full open world. Even the description of the game in the official announcement trailer, it describes it as a full open world Pokemon game. So, great, nice to see that. It's just super nice because holy shit, I fell off of Pokemon a long ass time ago, and I played it a little bit again for Sun and Moon. But like Sun and Moon it's fun, but man, it's entirely just on rails as fuck. But
how does that work with trainer battles if you're just roaming anywhere?
There is.
Do their heads just constantly rotate like deers, and when you lock eyes, you battle?
No, there is one trainer. Like there's this trio of like bandits who challenge you throughout the game, and the way it works is that they have a radius that they can see you in, and if you walk into that radius, you battle them.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, Pokemon Legends Arceus, really fucking good game. Loved it. Gonna plug through the post-game content slowly over time because I am not spending 15 hours straight doing nothing but just grinding Pokemon captures. No, thank you.
Yeah, what are you, some kind of fan or something?
No, I'm a fan. It's just... That's the kind of thing, like, completing Pokedex entries is one of those things that I typically do, like, slowly over time.
Sure.
Now, thankfully, Legends Arceus has a pretty small Pokedex at only, like, 230-something Pokemon. So...
They just keep downsizing.
Well, like, it works in this case because, like, it's only one game and it doesn't have multiple versions. Plus, there's another bigger Pokemon game coming out later this year, so,
Is this not compatible with the bank?
I don't think so, no.
What? That's crazy.
It's crazy.
I guess that makes sense though, because you can't exactly transfer like Hisuian variants to like games that don't have those models.
Yeah. Like I pick even your starters are Hisuian variants because I got a Cyndaquil, and it eventually evolved into a Typhlosion that's like a fire ghost type, which is badass.
Yeah. I just remember there used to be a huge complaint whenever things wouldn't line up with the chain, as it were, with the interconnectivity and whatnot. But now everyone's just like, who fucking cares? They made him a fire ghost type.
Hey, the fire ghost type is fucking badass.
I'm sure it is, Kevin. I'm just saying that I spent decades listening to Pokemon fans bitch about not being able to transfer shit which way.
Oh no.
And now it just seems like nobody cares.
People are still bitching. People are
Okay.
still bitching about the fact that, like, there's just so many Pokemon that they have on their 3DS games that they can't bring over to their Switch games. People are still bitching about that. Don't you worry.
Okay. I was worried there was less bitching in the world. That's fine. Oof.
I'm just saying, for me, and for Pokemon Legends Arceus as an individual game, it's fine. Now that said, Legends Arceus isn't the only thing I did. I also... Are you there?
Yeah, I had to reconnect.
Okay. Legends Arceus isn't the only thing I did. Oh, no siree.
Mm-hmm.
I also watched all... Okay, like 99%. I skipped a couple of episodes at your behest, but...
Yes.
I watched functionally all of Shakugan no Shana.
Yes.
Which, we'll get into that
We'll talk about that later. Yep.
No spoilers, but, I like it. I liked it. It's good. And I have, very strong opinions on it.
Yeah.
As I am wont to do.
Yes.
I'm an opinionated man.
Sometimes, yeah, I get that implication. Sometimes I listen to your opinions and I'm like, yes or no or maybe so.
Yes, no, what?
The three genders.
Yeah. Every now and then I say something and you're like, wait a fucking second. No.
I don't remember the last opinion you had that really baffled me. I don't remember.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Yep. It's been a while since we've done that, actually.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it. It's been a while since it's been a while. I don't even know what song that is. It's just a thing that's in my brain.
I do that with Cube the Third all the time. It's like a thing we do.
I thought it was our thing, but that's fine.
It's our thing too.
This is how it starts.
Anyway.
How what starts? I don't know.
What starts?
I don't know how. What's starting? What's starting?
I don't know what's starting. You're the one who said this is how it starts.
Yeah, you know, like this hit song. This is how we do it.
This is how we do what?
This is how we do it.
Anyway,
I don't know what song that is. It's just in my head.
Yeah, watched all of Shakugan no Shana, and that was a great time.
Yeah.
Now, I also played the demo, because one released, of Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Damn. Have you forgotten it already?
Nope.
Well, then it's failed in its duties.
No. It's like Forgotten Land, because Kirby's like, whoa, I've never seen this place. Where am I?
That's not forgotten. That's just unknown.
Well, to be okay, it's forgotten. It's clearly supposed to be post-apocalyptic Earth.
Yeah. Has Kirby been to Earth?
No, he's always been on Popstar.
Well, then it's not forgotten to him, isn't it?
But it's forgotten to like the rest of the galaxy, the rest of the universe.
But it's Kirby in the Forgotten Land, not the rest of the galaxy in the Forgotten Land.
Look. The point is, it was a land forgotten by time.
Sure.
And Kirby showed up there because he needs to do shit in it.
Right.
And also he needs to vor cars now, apparently.
So you're telling, so yeah, so
Yeah, so
yeah,
the mouthful mode. Now, Kirby's had some weird shit, okay?
sure.
Kirby's done some kind of freaky shit over time.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like with this game, the developers at HAL Laboratory said, hey, you know that joke that everyone says that Kirby just vores all of his enemies and vores everything? How about we just make that literal, like, his power, literally?
Yeah.
And Mouthful Mode was born. And while it is very fun and very creative and lends itself to a lot of fun gameplay opportunities, it is also weird as hell.
Based?
You vor a vending machine, Kirby's mouth becomes the flap where the soda cans come out, and you just spit soda everywhere.
Based.
Kirby vores a car, and the only thing that's left is just the bottom of the car with the wheels coming out, and you just drive around as this big pink monstrosity with wheels.
Yeah. It sounds like, sounds like peak game design to me.
It is peak game design, but it's also weird.
I don't know.
Why, Hal? Why?
I don't know. They do weird things.
They do, but can they pump the brakes a little bit on how weird they get? That said, yeah, that's a really fun demo. Also, I learned that Pluto
What did you
TV
Yes.
has an entire channel that is nothing but Iron Chef, like original Japanese Iron Chef.
Oh.
And G4, like 2 days ago, launched a channel on. Actually, no, yesterday they launched a channel. Yesterday, as of this recording, like March 7th.
Sure.
G4 launched a channel that features reruns of Ninja Warrior, both new and old competitions.
You have a subscription to Pluto TV?
You don't need a subscription; it's a free thing.
Oh.
So yeah, my evenings from now on are going to consist of Ninja Warrior and Iron Chef. So I'm back to my high school days now. It's great.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it really, they can't bring back the authentic G4 experience unless it's just 18 hours of cops, so...
Yeah, they don't have cops. They don't have cops.
Not yet.
Though, to be fair, the production company behind Cops kind of discontinued distributing the series in North America after, police brutality became a massive fucking problem.
Sure.
I mean, it's always been a massive fucking problem, but now people care about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now it's become a major political thing. It's one of my least favorite words, political. Right up there with antiquing.
I don't even remember what that's a reference to, but I got it.
Futurama.
Right, yes. Yeah. Yes, right, yes.
Like the words Bender says the least.
Yeah. I remember now.
We couldn't remove the bomb from your ass, but we decided to rewire it so that it only goes off if you say the word you say the least.
Oh yeah, I remember now.
Antiquing? Speaking of, John DiMaggio's back, baby!
Oh, I thought you were gonna go, speaking of antiquing. I was like, oh.
Nope. John DiMaggio's back.
What fine relics have you pondered from yon local pawn shop?
Yeah, no. Yeah, John DiMaggio finally got the deal he wanted for Bender in the Hulu revival of Futurama, so...
Well, we don't know if he got the deal he wanted so much as he got a deal he agreed to.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm on board with this now. I can look forward to it now and not be conflicted. Like, let's be real here. Bender is 50% of the humor in Futurama.
A bit, yeah.
Like, all on his own, he is 50% of the humor.
Yeah.
So, if you don't have John DiMaggio as Bender, you don't really have Bender, and as a result, you don't really have Futurama.
Sure.
So,
Yes.
I'm glad that a deal was reached and Hulu got their heads out of their asses.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that goes probably next year.
Yeah, it's going to come out next year.
If we're all still alive.
Yeah. Current events are kind of throwing a wrench in that plan.
Whatever. The Doomsday Clock's been fucking 60 seconds to midnight since fucking that album came out. Now that I think about it, Linkin Park might have known something we didn't.
It might have. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. That's what I've been doing. What have you been doing?
Well, apparently Spotify is also down.
Yep. Discord.
What is
Spotify.
with the internet today?
Directed
It's crazy.
service.
Yep. Thankfully, Google, everyone's favorite service, Google Chat, seemed to be just fine.
Hallelujah.
Mm-hmm.
It only works well for us specifically, but
Yep. So since the last episode,
yeah, I didn't know what we were gonna do for a podcast, so I just posted a meme of, today I will record a podcast at 2 p.m. Clueless.
You thought you were clueless, but I had a plan. Actually, you were clueless, but I had a plan. We just need to get more money.
More money. All problems.
Same problems.
Same amount of
Really.
problems.
Yeah, same amount of money, same amount of problems.
Yes.
That could just be my status for every day. Actually, now I think about it.
It could be.
Yeah. Well, I know because sometimes I spend money and then I have less money, but then sometimes I get paid and then I have more money.
Yeah.
But the same amount of problem. I'm in the same, like, I think it works in like a tier system. You know. This range of money has this range of problems. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So like I'm in the same range of problems.
Sure.
Anyway, since the last episode, I have eaten at least a dozen sandwiches.
Have you?
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But also, Shadow Warrior 3 came out. I played that. I played that on their dime because they put it up on PlayStation Now day one, and I never used PlayStation Now, so I just got the free trial and beat it in like 3 days, and then just quit my subscription.
Woohoo! Free game.
That's the way to do it. Because Shadow Warrior 3 is pretty short. You can beat it in like 6 or 7 hours. It's a really good time though, I will say. It's a really good all that fucking pseudo Borderlands stuff they introduced and procedural stuff they introduced in Shadow Warrior 2 is gone now. It's just a good old fashioned linear campaign, just like Grandpappy used to play. but prettier and gorier.
As God intended.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty. Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good linear arena shooter. It's kind of like if Doom Eternal and Serious Sam 3 had a sexy Asian baby.
Oh, that sounds badass.
Yeah. It's very tight. It's very tightly designed. You know, there's a good amount of enemy variety. It's a good solid campaign that doesn't overstay its welcome. There's only like 6 weapons, but they're all good, you know. Actually, okay, so there's like 6 main weapons, including your sword. Actually, no, not it might. The sword is 6th or 7th weapon. I forget. But the arsenal's good. But then there's also like, if you do a finisher on certain special enemies, you can take like a weapon from them and use it temporarily. So you can take like the big hulking people's like Gatling guns, or you could take the fireworks launcher from the weird fucking accordion demons.
That sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah, or the big swords from the samurai guys, and just use them. They're like on a timer, and you can just go wild with them for like, I don't know, 30 seconds or something.
Nice.
So yeah, it has a really nice flow to it. It's really fun. Good enemy variety, good weapons, good feels. Pretty pretty good story, all things considered, for what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I think it's probably the most solid. Under the Mayo called it the most solid FPS since Doom Eternal, and I'm inclined to agree.
To be fair, Doom Eternal was super, super tightly designed, with like very deliberate design choices throughout the entire like experience. So.
Yeah, you're not allowed to compliment it. You got filtered by the Marauder. So.
Shut up.
I'm not letting you live that down. This motherfucker got filtered by the. This motherfucker got filtered by the Marauder.
I
just
will
want everyone
return
to know that
it.
it's a black stain on his reputation. Just want everyone to know that he's the guy. You're Kevin. You're basically 3 steps away from becoming a Polygon editor. I want you to know that.
Oh my god, that is literally the most insulting thing you have ever said to me. Oh my god.
You're on your way, Kevin. Soon you're going to be playing the Cuphead tutorial and be like, how do I jump?
I have never been so offended.
Maybe you shouldn't have got filtered by the Marauder. Kevin, when his eyes flash green, that's when you attack.
Hey, Zeke, shut up. My God.
I still need to go through the Ancient Gods DLCs. I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, I remember you finished Doom Eternal and you're like, I'm gonna hold off on the Ancient God DLCs because this game gets hard.
So here's the thing about Doom Eternal. It's a great game. The final boss fucking sucks. I hate it so much. Maybe they've patched it to be better since, but the final boss is fucking ass. And like, as much as I really like that game, it really soured my opinion on it when I was done because like the man, the myth, the legend Arcada once said, the ending is paramount.
The ending is paramount.
And when the last hour of the game is just a frustrating fucking mess against a giant fucking wall of bullshit, then like that's kind of what's gonna stick with you. So yeah, I wouldn't even say it was like super hard so much as it was like just extremely it's an extremely tedious boss.
Yeah.
And that really just sucked the fun out of like the last hour of playing it. So yeah, but I'm not talking about Doom Eternal. I'm talking about Shadow Warrior 3. Shadow Warrior 3 finally broke the Shadow Warrior reboot curse of having terrible bosses. The bosses in this one are actually good.
Yay.
There's only like 3 of them, but they're actually really good. They figured it out. We figured it out, everyone.
We figured it out. Everybody can go home. Actually, no, everybody can play the game now.
Yeah. To be fair, though, to the Shadow Warrior reboot series, that's just kind of an FPS problem. I feel like the FPS genre has always struggled with what a boss fight is supposed to be.
Yeah, a little bit. Like, a lot of FPS bosses are... they typically come in one of 2 flavors. Either circle strafe and keep firing until you run out of ammo.
Mm-hmm.
Or...
shoot the glowy bits!
Okay, 3 forms. Shoot the glowy bits.
Mm-hmm.
Or 3, or the third one is just like random enemies suddenly become massive bullet sponges, and they have very particular patterns where you can't attack them until they do one really specific action.
Mm-hmm.
At which point they become vulnerable and you can kill them.
Yeah. So like, let me explain.
GoldenEye is really bad with this. Because the final boss is Trevelyan, whom, mind you, Trevelyan is just a dude, but he becomes a massive bullet sponge, and the only fucking justification they have for it is that now he's wearing armor.
I don't think a
body armor now, so he can take like 55 bullets now.
Unpopular opinion, I don't think a James Bond game needs a fucking final boss.
It really doesn't. And yet, look, I like GoldenEye Wii, but that's one of those design decisions I'm like, guys, really?
Yeah. So, like, the first, like, big, like, I don't know if it's the first, but, like, one of the big boss encounters is against this giant, like, chicken demon. And you fight this thing, and it has like 3 phases. So the first phase is that it's a big fucking thing, and there's no like immunity phase or anything. As soon as its health bar shows up, you can damage it. So you just shoot it anywhere and it does damage. So that's step 1 complete. We did it.
Okay.
And it'll charge at you, and it'll shoot a laser, and it'll like hop around, and like you have to jump so you don't get caught in the shockwave. And then you beat it, but then it splits it like cuts itself in half, and like and he's like, oh, I'm sure, and the Wang's like, oh, I'm sure it's dead now, and then like both halves come alive because a chicken with its head cut off will run around and stuff. So that's literally the justification for why this happens. Is that how chickens, when you cut their heads off, sometimes they're still running around. Yeah, it's that. So you have to fight the lower half and the upper half at the same time, and the upper half is flying around, and it'll shoot lasers at you in different patterns and chase you around, and then like the lower half will be trying to ram into you and do the same ground pound shit. So basically, when you fight it as one unit, it's either doing the laser shit or it's doing the pounding and the charging. But now you have to do both at the same time. And then the final phase, when you when they're split in half, they share the same health bar, which is convenient.
Okay.
So like it's like the phase doesn't change just because you take out one first. You don't really have to prioritize.
Yeah, that's good.
Which is nice. They just share a health bar, and then when that's gone, they enter phase 3, where you have to grapple hook on these rocks and just like make it to the head that's shooting lasers at you. While the thing on the ground is trying to pound you and keep you from...
Everything about this sounds so fucking fun.
Yeah, and keep you from grappling hooking. The bottom half's just pounding around trying to keep you... It's just stomping its giant chicken feet and creating shockwaves to try to keep you from grappling hooking up and getting on those rocks. And then once you make it to the fucking head, basically you just win the fight. Like the third phase is just a gauntlet to get to the head. So... Yeah, and that's kind of what the boss fights are like in Shadow Warrior 3, which is a huge improvement from 1 and 2, where they were just giant bullet sponges, basically.
Yeah, it's good it's good that the developers over at Flying Wild Hog figured out how to make good bosses.
Finally, I've played all of their games, and they finally figured out boss fights.
Thank you. I can actually say your game is amazing now.
No, the ones
like everything about this game is great, except for those fucking bosses.
It's not like they were bad in the sense that they were dumb and boring.
Yeah.
They weren't bad in the sense that they were like frustrating or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's good. They also had, the final boss is actually like a better version of the plant monster from Bulletstorm, which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's funny. Because it's like a big like wriggly thing, and it's like whipping, and you have to like dodge it, and then at some point it like gets up, and it has like glowy bits, but like you can damage. It has glowy bits, but it has a lot of glowy bits, so it doesn't really matter too much where you shoot it. You just have to like get in the general areas of its weaknesses, and you have to like swing on its thing when it's like attacking the ground. Like it'll swing its tendrils on the ground constantly, so you have to keep swinging above it to hit it. It's a cool, like, yeah, they really actually figured out some good boss fights, so that's a big improvement. So yeah, Shadow Warrior 3, good campaign. If anyone has never had PlayStation Now, you can just do the free trial, and the game's short enough that you can easily beat it in a week.
Yay!
Yeah. I will say though, just a heads up to people, that pay attention to the challenges screen, because I didn't realize that I was earning upgrade points through that. The game never told me that you earn upgrades through the like, it has like a in-game like challenge thing, like do this so many times, or or whatever. And I didn't realize that if you go to that screen, you can redeem completed challenges for upgrade points. So I spent a good portion of the campaign not getting as many upgrade points as I would have liked, because I didn't realize I was earning them this way.
Okay.
So just a heads up to everyone, redeem those points.
It's like, that's not on the game developers, that's on you.
I mean, they didn't tell me about it, but I guess I could have looked.
Yeah, like the option was there, you could have looked, but...
Yeah. But yeah, it's fun. It's a fun time. It's a good time. It's a fun time.
Glad to hear.
I'm also not sure. if I mentioned last week that I beat Dying Light 2, but
I believe you did. Yes, yes, you did.
I don't know if I did. I think I said I was playing it. I don't know if I said I beat it or not. I don't remember. It's been too long. It's been a while. Yeah, but I beat that. And then I've started Persona 5 Strikers because it was free on Plus, so I have that now. Oh, also, one other thing I want to mention is Shadow Warrior 3 runs at a pretty okay 60 FPS on PS5, so that's nice. I hear the last gen versions are not as good.
I love how you say it's a pretty okay 60.
I mean, like, it has some back compat hitches every now and then,
Right,
but it's really it's pretty good.
I just find the wording very amusing.
Look, okay, so here's the thing, Kevin, is that there's 60 FPS and then there's 60 FPS. You know what I'm saying?
It's functionally 60.
Yeah. Yeah, and now I'm playing Persona 5 Strikers a bit. I also played a bit of Cuphead. I got through the first island. That's something I do on and off, I guess. Okay. I was confused for a second because I'm like, I know I took a break from Strikers, and I realized I took a break from Strikers to play Shadow Warrior 3, so never mind.
Well, now you can get back to Strikers.
Yeah, well, I did last night. I also read a bit more of Rewrite Plus, which I've been putting off for a bit.
Yeah, I saw you on that late last night.
Yeah. Just going through that bit by bit. It's kind of, I was talking to you on DMs the other day about it, but like it's kind of, I'm thinking about becoming the year of Key inadvertently.
The keyhole.
Yeah, it's like a rabbit hole, but it's shaped like a key.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what lives in it, but we're about to find out. No, but like, so I'm playing through Rewrite Plus because I bought it because they finally fucking released the thing, and I said I would if they did.
Thank you, Sakai Project.
Finally.
Sorry, your translator fucking died.
Yeah. Yeah, but so I'm playing through that. I have the strangest urge to play through Little Busters again, which would be easier because it's on Switch.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that right now,
but
I'm just
play
saying.
It with one hand.
I could. You can't. I don't know why they keep emphasizing that. It's a bit weird.
But you can.
That's good to know. It's good to know. And then at some point, the fan patch for Summer Pockets Reflection Blue is dangerously nearing completion, which means one of two things: either it's coming out soon, or it'll stall because they're trying to sell it to the company. One of those two things will happen. That happens sometimes in the fan translation space. Sometimes if a fan patch seems to stall at like 99% for a while, they may be trying to sell their translation to the company involved.
Yeah. And like typically it works out because the company's like, oh shit, free translation, nice. Well, sometimes. Not free, but because they have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Typically it's like, oh shit, a translation, and we didn't have to do the work.
I like their odds considering that Key paid for Ixrec's translation of Rewrite that they didn't use.
Yeah, they literally for the translation, looked it over and said, "This sucks."
Yeah, they bought his translation, examined it, and they're like, "No," and then they just started over after buying it. That's funny.
Well, at least Ixrec got his money.
Yep. Yeah, he got his payday for doing a bad job, apparently.
I mean,
to be fair, by the time they bought it, he had done it like 6 years before.
Yeah.
So imagine doing something and then getting paid for it 6 years later out of the blue. So, you know, that's cool.
And to be fair, like, Key didn't, like, all Key knew was that, like, oh, this is the most popular, well-known, and complete translation of our game available. Ideally, like, we can probably do something similar to other translations we've licensed, like Clannad or Planetarian, where we can just take this translation, do a QC pass on it, just edit it a little bit to make it flow a little bit better, and then we can release it. I don't think they were expecting Ixrex's translation to have as many issues as it did.
Yeah. Which, really, yeah, I think we probably touched on this before when it came out, but like it's just weird to me that like people will like nitpick everything about an official translation, but they're just really overlooking. It's like, oh, it was better before, and I'm like, are you sure? Because the company bought it, they paid for it, and then they looked at it and decided not to use. They deliberately decided to spend more money doing more work because they didn't think it was good enough.
Yeah, so like,
I don't know whose opinion I value here.
I think it's mostly just people being used to the old translation and people being familiar with how that particular translation sounds, how it reads, and how the characters like speak in that version. Whether or not that's actually accurate, being like another thing entirely. So,
sure.
I think the switch to a more accurate translation is a little bit weird. This is gonna be like a weird comparison, but like I read a lot of doujinshi, and some doujinshi just get multiple translations from different people, and the more like something I've noticed is that the more accurate translations tend to sound a little tend not to have quite as much. They might be a little bit more stilted, but that's more accurate to the original dialogue.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a matter of that with Key's translations, in that Ixrek did his translations for rewrite and edited them so that they sounded good and that they flowed well in English.
Sure.
Not necessarily that it's, 100% accurate, even though he was doing his best with, a translation guide and machine translation and shit. But,
so Ixrek apparently doesn't know Japanese super well.
Yeah.
Like he knows Japanese, but not at like the credential level or whatever. So his work was a lot of machine translation combined with going through a dictionary and just sort of like double checking things and then rewriting it so it flowed well, which created a product that seems probably better than it is on the surface. A lot of smoke screening going on there.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's functional for reading, but it's not necessarily accurate.
Yeah. The thing about more accurate translations sounding a bit more stilted or whatever, that always reminds me of the fact that like a lot of what we love about the Disgaea games comes from their localizations.
Yeah.
If you actually look at the Japanese scripts, they are significantly more straightforward and less funny.
Yeah, the dubs for Disgaea add a lot of extra humor, character quirks and shit like that.
Yeah.
That makes it a lot more lively and gives it a lot more personality, but it's not necessarily quote unquote accurate.
But we're so used to it at this point that if they actually did do it accurately, we wouldn't like it as much.
It would just feel off. It would just feel really, really off.
Yeah. Some things just be like that.
Hey, I'm not gonna complain because like going through Disgaea is still a good experience, and at the very least, it's not a matter of them inaccurately translating it and then trying to patch it over with a lot of QC. It's just they translate it, but then they take what they have and they add upon what's already there that's more or less accurately translated. So we still get the original intent in terms of like story and basic characterization. It's just that more is added onto the English dub to make it a lot more lively.
Yeah. Yes. I have nothing to add to that.
Okay.
Yeah. That's how it works. Yeah. I'm also reminded of, this is slightly different, but like the people that don't like the Symphony of the Night redub.
Even though the original is a whole ass thing.
Yeah.
Die, monster! You don't belong in this world.
Yeah. It's fun stuff. It is.
It's not good,
Mhm.
but it's fun.
Yeah. The other reason I want to go through Little Busters is because I waited for this release specifically that I played 4 years ago now. Specifically because I didn't want to play the fan patch that had been out for a while because it didn't have the EX routes, and then I played the official release and I just stopped after refrain and I didn't do the EX routes, which is really annoying me.
I
So
don't know why
there's
you
that.
stopped.
I don't know. I think it's just refrain is so emotionally cathartic and conclusive that like I felt like I needed a break, but then like the break just turned into just never doing it.
Yeah. You were like, oh, I'll get back to this in like a month. Never did.
Yep.
I'm gonna take
So
a
that-
break, play a couple more games. And you just never get back to the EX routes.
Yep. So yeah. So like that might happen, and then Reflection Blue, either officially or not, might happen. So like it might just be the year of Key. I don't know.
It might be. It might be.
Mm-hmm.
I love how you were like initially like, I'm just gonna speed run through Air, Canon, and Clannad with the anime, but then you actually asked some people and they're like, Clannad, yes, the other two, no.
Yeah. Yeah, that was more. Also, there's enough on my plate. I don't care.
Like, there is one route in Clannad that does not exist in the anime, and it is for a minor character who has very little impact on the plot.
Yeah.
If you ever hear
I might
someone talk about Capet's route, that's the one that they cut, and it is very inconsequential.
Yeah. So yeah, I might watch Clannad. The problem is it's not fucking streaming anywhere.
It is. It's on High Dive, but I don't have High Dive right now.
I know. I think I saw on Mal that After Story's not on High Dive though.
It was the. Hold up.
I saw it on Mal that it was only on some Indian fucking service called Skidaldi or something.
What in the hell? Okay, hold on. High Dive. It just seems weird that they would have Clannad, but not
Yeah.
After Story. No, yeah. No.
Live fact checking.
After Story is on High Dive. After Story is on
Okay.
High Dive.
Well, okay. Well, you know where High Dive isn't on PS5, so that's a problem. They kind of were with a workaround when they were on Verve, but now nobody's on Verve, so who cares?
Oh god. Verve is just dead now. Like, functionally dead.
Mm-hmm.
And then soon, it'll be actually dead.
Soon it shall be. Soon it
It's
shall
not a
be.
good thing. I liked Verve.
Also, I mentioned I was gonna maybe rewatch Charlotte, see how that holds up. So
Yeah,
again,
'cause-
Year of Key maybe.
Let's fucking go!
I guess for now, yeah. I guess for now, I'm just playing Strikers. Probably gonna. I might see some more previews before I pre-order the Super Deluxe Extra Chocolate Super Edition of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. We'll see. Just, I think that the reason I'm wary is just because I blew out on the Ultimate Edition for Dying Light 2.
Right.
And I liked Dying Light 2. It didn't blow my world though. You know? The thing about Dying Light 2 is that like it's kind of just it's like a lateral shift. Where like it does some things better than the first and some things worse. And like it's not like the overall massive improvement I kind of expected it to be.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I guess for now it's just kind of what I'm up to. And I should probably get back to writing at some point. Should probably write some things.
Yeah, maybe.
To be fair, I have written things. They're just not things I can publish. Like I've written more of Secret Project. And then I also did like some like very far future work for Drex that like I'm nowhere close to getting to, but I just woke up one day and just felt like starting it. So I
You're
wrote
not
like
gonna see this for a few years, Kevin.
yeah. So I just started that and I didn't even finish it, but I got like I don't know 12 pages of that done. I have a problem where I do a lot of work that people won't see. I'm constantly working on things that people won't see for a while. Particularly like visual stuff
Yeah.
and like other things where like I'll just make graphics for things that like I will not get to for a long time, which theoretically will eventually save me time. But for now, it just looks like I'm not doing anything. But I am. I is. I also gotta figure out. What I want Reikuko to do next, because I don't actually know at the moment. We're on standby with that. Because I did some secret things that I may or may not reveal at some point. I don't know. Yeah, it's all rather hush hush. But yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. Did I talk about Nah, never mind. That'd be boring. I was gonna tell my Best Buy story, but that'd be boring. Who cares? Full enough Best Buy stories. Yeah, I think that'll do it for the first segment.
All right.
So we're gonna come back in a bit, and we're gonna talk about some Shana.
Yeah, boy.
Stay tuned.
The following segment of the bakagaijinshow contains full spoilers for the anime series Shakugan no Shana. Please skip to the time shown on screen if you wish to avoid spoilers.
Welcome back to the Bakagaijinshow. Today we're talking about some Shakugan no Shaner.
That hurt my soul.
Yeah. So, listeners will know that like a month or no more than a month ago, I bought all the Shana Blu-rays and binged it in a week.
Yep, I remember that.
And then I have coerced Kevin as well to binge.
Is it really coercion if I agreed to it before you had the chance?
Yes. Don't question me.
Okay.
Yeah. So he binged it, and now we're doing a topic about it. I was going to do a video, and I spent a lot of time working on the script for that video, but only recently have I realized that there were things I wanted to mention that I just couldn't fit into a linear script.
Yeah.
And at this point, the script is so tightly written that like I just can't interject anything anywhere. So despite all the time I spent on that, and it was a long script, mind you. The script I made is like 30 pages or something.
Yeah.
So that's kind of getting scrapped at this point. Maybe one day I'll rework it. I don't know, but like for now, we're just doing a podcast about it. And it's gonna be tough to hit all the points we want to, because I feel like I've done nothing but talk about Shana with you for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, but I've.
But we'll try.
We'll try. I will let you take point because you are the Shana maestro.
Well, fuck, no pressure.
You're the host.
Yeah. Sometimes I like to forget that. It's a lot of work. Anyway, Shakugan no Shana is a classic anime series, in my mind. That was the whole impetus of this rabbit hole for me was not only rewatching a show that I watched when I was younger, and by younger I mean I was like 19. I don't know.
Yeah.
I watched it in like 2013 or whatever on the old laptop. So to revisit it to see if it held up, because it's one of those things I kept saying was good for a long time, but it had been long enough that I was just like, but is it really? And so I checked it out.
Do my memories fail me?
So I saw the Blu-rays were on sale, so I scooped them up. I scooped them.
Oh yeah.
I skiggity scooped them, and I binged it in a week, and I thought it was pretty good. But it also reawakened some feelings I've always had about the series. That being that despite how popular and influential it was at the time, it's really fallen off in terms of cultural relevance since then. It's not something people talk about. It's not something people recommend. the fact that it influenced so many things going forward seems to have largely been either forgotten or relegated to like a quick trivia note, you know. And so the point of the essay was ultimately to half talk about my feelings about the show, but also to examine why it fell off, you know, why it has lost the cultural relevance for the most part that it once had. And we're gonna talk about that today. You know, the reasons why it fell off and why we think it shouldn't have, but also understand why it did.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to be consulting the script I actually wrote for my points. I'm not going to like be reading off the whole thing or anything, but like I'm going to be consulting it, you know, for what the points I had written down and what I wanted to talk about. So, yeah, so I watched it. You watched it. Just in general, though, what did you think, Kevin?
I really enjoyed watching Shakugan no Shana. So, going through Shana, one thing that you mentioned going in was that Shana, as like, you know, going from the original light novels as well as the anime adaptation, kind of acted as the Shakugan no Shana was kind of the prototype for a lot of things about anime and light novels that kind of got adapted later into other series, like Toradora, Zero no Tsukaima, shit like that. And it was interesting watching Shakugan no Shana and kind of noticing how, in a lot of ways, a lot of those later series kind of missed the point on why Shakugan no Shana did a lot of the things that it did with its characters and story.
Yeah.
Probably the most notable is Shana herself. Shana is oftentimes cited as the prototypical modern tsundere character, and I'm going to be totally real with you. After about episode 13, I don't see it.
Yeah.
Like, by the end of the first season, most of her most violent and more abrasive tendencies have kind of mellowed out. And by the time you get to halfway through season 2, she's just a complete, like, sweetheart.
Yeah.
With, like, a couple of moments where she's a little moody, like, a little, you know, self-introspective, a little, like, personally emotional, but she doesn't take it out on anybody.
No. She grows out of it extremely quickly. Like, it's by like episode 6 or 7 that all of her internal thoughts are basically, I can do anything when Yuji's around, you know?
Yeah, like, by the end of the first arc, actually no, partway through the second arc, when they're fighting the incest twins, which, this show had the balls to introduce a couple of, a brother and sister team by having them suck face. Defining character moments.
Some of the Crimson Denizens are just weirdos.
They are.
By the way, just full spoilers, and don't expect us to explain all the terminology. Please don't. This is not an essay. I can't do that.
Yeah, no, please, for the love of God, have at least some knowledge of Shakugan no Shana coming in.
Yeah, we're not going to give you the crash course on all the terminology and shit. Like, you're familiar with it or you're not. This is look, okay, this episode, this is for us, okay? Okay? This isn't for you. You could just listen in if you want, all right?
You're just here because you're listening.
Yeah, so if your first introduction to the phrase Crimson Denizen was the incest twins, I'm sorry, but that's just how it's going to roll.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but yeah,
I just really enjoy how the Sorath's entire motivation is, ooh, flamey sword, I want it.
I want the flamey sword.
Which, you know,
I want
relatable.
The Yatono no Shana.
Which, you know, relatable. But anyway, yeah, like, Shana grows out of that extremely quickly, but not only that, but like later series that tried to copy her character archetype, the thing that she apparently created, I guess.
Yeah.
They completely misinterpreted why that dynamic between her and Yuji existed the way it did initially in the first place.
Yeah, like
You
the
know?
whole point is that she began as a flame haze who didn't really see herself as anything else. The whole
Yeah.
point of Shana as a character early on was she saw herself as nothing other than a flame haze, and she saw Yuji as nothing other than a torch.
Right.
Like,
And like
you are,
and like
like
from
you are an-
her
it's like you are an
Go on.
empty vessel who is just the remnants of someone who used to exist, and you will
Mhm.
fade away at some point. And I'm a flame haze, and I exist specifically to hunt crimson denizens who eat people like you. That's
Yeah.
it. That's all this is.
Yeah.
And I look
So,
down
like-
upon you for that.
I don't even yeah, well like I don't even think it's like cuz from her perspective, like it's not even looking down so much as like
Yeah.
you're not worth the glance because you're just an NPC who's going to get deleted in a very short amount of time. And like that is like the distinction between that and Luis beating Saito with a riding crop because he's a lowly commoner is like it's like a mile wide. It's like so ridiculously flanderized. And the other like here's because the thing is like I don't think Shana was ever haughty for the sake of being haughty.
Oh,
It was just a
absolutely
natural it was just a consequence of like her cold demeanor from her training, but also just how the fucking setting functions.
not. Yeah.
Like it's not like a caste system. It's not like a class thing invented by people. It's just the way the universe works, what a torch is.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
know?
And like that's just what Shauna's grown up knowing.
Yeah. And again, grows out of it extremely quickly, like almost immediately after presented with evidence that this is not entirely the case.
Yeah.
As I point out, Yuji's very character-defining decision to use his own power of existence to save his classmates after that fight in the classroom is like the inciting incident that spurs not only Shauna's curiosity
Yeah.
about this supposed torch, because every torch she's ever seen has just been interested in self-preservation, you know, whether they know the truth of themselves or not.
Yeah. Do I sound
But
quiet to you again, or?
no, it sounds about right.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, also we apologize for the last segment's audio issues.
Yeah, I had an issue with my microphone, and I didn't realize it until like way after we started recording.
Like we said, inconvenienced.
Yep.
But
Very inconvenient for me, because I'm the
Yeah.
editor.
Yuji's selfless action, sorry, you know, spurs this curiosity in Shana, and that's what begins her path to change and understand this person, which he has the chance to because he houses the Midnight Lost Child, which allows him to essentially be pseudo-immortal.
Yeah, this dude just somehow happens to have an eternal entropy machine stuck inside of him.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite bits of world building from Shana is the idea of the Mestis, which is that apparently treasure tools just spawn inside of torches sometimes.
Yeah,
So
it just happens.
Yeah, just like sometimes torches just spawn with S tier loot in them. It's the most JRPG-ass thing. But yeah. So like just talking about Shana herself though, like she grows out of that extremely quickly, but like a lot of those attributes that got copied didn't come from a place of haughtiness so much as a place of exploring the fundamental nature of the setting initially, but also how little Shana understands herself and her own feelings because of how she was raised. And I pointed it out that like that part in like episode 4 or whatever where he falls out of the closet while she's changing or whatever, and she like beats him up a little. Like that is the height of the physical abuse in the series in episode 4.
Yeah, and that's entirely because she's beginning to see him as a person rather than just a torch.
Yeah, the entire point of that sequence is not like a funny haha, you know, like every other fucking time you've ever seen that sequence, where it's just like a funny haha, girl doesn't want to be seen naked or whatever. It's explicitly pointed out to illustrate the fact that she clearly doesn't just see him as a torch, as some inanimate object, because if she did, it wouldn't have bothered her. You know, it's like the one time that scene has been done with purpose.
Yeah.
And then like it was copied wholesale by every other anime that came after it, and literally has never had that same narrative purpose ever again.
Yeah, I think it showcases how much more of a developed and interesting character Shana is.
Yeah.
When hold up a second. Give me a second. Okay, I needed to. Okay, I'm good. Okay. Anyway,
Okay, yeah.
as I was saying,
Yeah.
I think it showcases how much more of an interesting and developed character Shana is. And this is a moment that like you brought up as well when we were talking about it. There's a point late in season 2 where Yuji's mom ends up getting really sick. And Shana specifically goes out of her way to bolt out of school as soon as it ends, rush to her to make sure she's okay, and then spends all of her time trying to make sure that she's, like,
Yeah.
you know, being well taken care of.
Yeah.
Like, no other major tsundere character who was influenced by Shana afterwards would have done something like that, because Shana's not a fucking asshole.
Yeah. Like, I think that's like that's the key point, is that like a lot of her early, I don't even think you can call it bitchiness. It's just sort of like coldness or
Cold.
like,
Yeah, cold is a good way to put it.
yeah. It's like coldness or ambivalence more than anything. And like that peaks very early and she grows out of it extremely fast. And like for most of the show, she's like, as I keep saying, she's just a marshmallow with a knife.
Fuck's sake.
You know?
Even so, moving into like the romantic subplot here, even her relationship with her main romantic rival, Yoshida, is so wildly different from every other relationship between like a tsundere and their direct romantic rival in any other series, because Shana and Yoshida, after a point, are actually really good friends, and they genuinely get along really well.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, the two of them are really friendly, they help each other out, and, like, they see each other as rivals, but they're also like, damn, I respect you.
Yeah, like, and it takes a while to get there, but, like, I feel like it gets misconstrued, this like, it gets misconstrued a lot because people look at it like it's supposed to be a prototypical Betty and Veronica situation, which it resembles that on the surface, but it's not really used like that for a couple of reasons.
It really isn't.
The first is that, like, we kind of know implicitly from very early on that like Yoshida does not have a fucking chance. Like that's not what this. It's not what it's about. It's not a fucking mystery. Like, oh my god, who's he gonna choose, Kevin?
Yeah,
who's he gonna choose? Could it be the girl whose name's in the title?
Yeah, even on TV tropes, like there is a section where it just straight up says it is very clear early on that Yoshida has no chance.
Yeah, but that's not the point. The point is that having this rival forces Shana to confront her own feelings and like actually like internalize and like self-examine, you know, how she feels about him, and also, you know, how she understands the nature of love to begin with.
Yeah, the whole thing is that Yoshida is already well aware of her own feelings, and she actively confronts them, and she actively chases after Yuji, and you know, makes it a point to you know, go out of her way to, you know, make Yuji happy and present herself as like a romantic option to him, whereas Shana over here barely even figured out what the fuck emotions are. And
well, that's the thing. That's why Yoshida's so important, is because Shana's stubborn. So like if she was not confronted with a danger, a threat, a rival to her feelings, she might never actually end up confronting them.
Man, that stubbornness ended up like transitioning really well into her obsession with Yuji later.
Yeah, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Of course.
But like I said, like a lot of critics of Shana tend to dismiss it for this love triangle, but like it is so not used the way they assume it is from like every other series. There's a lot of tendency when people look at Shana to criticize it, projecting things that it influenced later on that didn't have the same depth or purpose to it, and retroactively applying that to Shana as like tropey or formulaic, when like these things were used with such purpose in this show.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things that I noticed about Shakugan no Shana is that there was a purpose to, like, almost every element of characterization had a purpose to it.
Yeah.
In terms of, Shana and Yuji and, their developing relationship, every element of that had a purpose to it. Mm-hmm. And I really enjoyed watching that develop and seeing how... But, like, I enjoyed it, but also it frustrated me just because...
Yeah.
It kind of makes a lot of other stuff that came afterwards look way worse in comparison.
Yeah, there was a point, like, partway through season 2 or something, where, like, you just got angry at other shows.
I did. I just let loose. I was like, I am so fucking pissed that so many other series took Shana as a template and proceeded to get everything fucking wrong about it. It's the same thing with fucking all these cookie cutter fucking isekais taking after Mushoku Tensei in the worst ways.
Yeah. So, like, I think watching Shana is very interesting from a historical perspective because you can clearly see the blueprints. You can see what a lot of other shows took after it, but then you can also see how it has become how it became flanderized and misunderstood, or just like it just didn't have the same purpose behind it. Because when Yashichiro Takahashi wrote Shana, I mean, like, some of these tropes existed beforehand, but like not quite in this way. Like, he was doing his own thing, he was telling the story he needed to tell, and these elements got transposed onto other things that didn't have those same intentions, so they just got progressively more like, I think people who haven't seen Shana would be genuinely shocked at just how much you can see how it inspired the template, but it doesn't follow the template. It always does things with more purpose, or slightly more... It has a way of always slightly exceeding your expectations, either by having, like, surprising doses of realism, or just a deeper meaning to things, you know?
Yeah. And that's something that I really enjoyed about Shakugan no Shana going through it, is just the way that all of that developed over time, and how it just completely, like, flew against my expectations of what to expect from these characters and from this show.
Yeah.
Because I went in expecting a very particular character out of Shana, and that's not what I got, and I'm glad about that.
Yeah, like, Shana is very lovable, and it doesn't take long to get there.
She's so cute!
Yeah.
Like, that is consistently one of the things that I kept saying about her throughout the entire series, is Shana is so cute!
Mm-hmm. And it's, yeah. And it, like, it established a lot of conventions, but did so with more conviction and purpose, and people are retroactively very uncharitable towards it, which I think is one reason why it has fallen off in cultural relevance, is because when people look at it, they're not seeing they're not meeting the show on its level, they're not seeing it on its terms, they're seeing they're seeing in it everything that it inspired, and they decided that they don't like that because they're projecting how those things did it and not seeing the nuances.
And it's really unfortunate because, damn, Shakugan no Shana really is better than the sum of its parts.
Yeah. Yeah. On the surface, it's sort of like an arc-based Monster of the Week sort of affair, but like there's such a strong through line to it, where like the status quo is changing, and like the characters change along with it, and like it's not as stock as it seems. Like every arc introduces some kind of shift or change to the character's understanding of themselves or to the status quo as a whole. I remember you were surprised near the end of the first season where like the rest of the most of the rest of like the classmates or whatever are like let in on the secret world. It's very common in a lot of these shows where like the only people who really know about, the whole secret world, world beneath what we know, the only people who know about that are like the main character, his or her, direct love interest / object of affection, and maybe a couple of side characters.
But then the romantic rival got involved. Then Yoshida was brought in.
Yeah.
She met up with the tuner character. I forget his name offhand.
Kamshin. Yeah, Kamshin.
Yeah. He brought her over, and it makes sense why he did this, because you know, it's described in the show that all the things that happened in Misaki City have caused gaps within its existence, that me as a tuner, I need to know what this city was like before all this shit happened to it. And you know, Yoshida knows Misaki City like the back of her hand, so so like she was the most logical choice.
In her heart she has like the ideal image of what Misaki City is to her within her.
Yeah, and that was very useful for the tuning.
Yeah.
But like it ended up directly bringing her into the conflict with Balmaske and
understanding just how far behind in the Yuji Bowl she really was.
See, up until this point, Yoshida thought she had a chance. But then she sees all the shit that Shana and Yuji had gone through, and what everything Yuji has been dealing with in his life as a not person, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And she realizes, I don't have a chance. Not gonna stop me though.
Yeah. And then like I remember even earlier than that, you were surprised from the beginning that Eita and Keisaku were also in on it, like from very early on.
Yeah, like almost immediately after Marjorie, the character Marjorie Daw gets introduced, she immediately brings Keisaku and Eita under her wing and has them as kind of like her backup.
Yeah.
Her supporters who, you know, help her do shit.
Yeah.
And they end up being really plot important throughout the entire series, and I was pretty shocked to see that, actually.
Yeah, because like for the longest time you just kind of assume they're just like henchmen types, and they kind of stay that way, but like more is done with it than you think.
Yeah, even they get significant development. One scene that like straight up blew me away, like I was shocked, but like I didn't mention it, it was really late in season 2, and you know the scene, where Marjorie goes absolutely apeshit because of some plot things that like, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Plot shit happens and Marjorie goes absolutely apeshit. And this all happens at a school festival. And Eita's romantic like Eita's girlfriend at this point.
Kind of. Yeah, more or less.
They're basically dating at that point.
More or less.
Ogata, her body just gets flung around like a rag doll.
Yeah.
And she gets like her body gets really badly like beaten and bloodied up and broken.
Yeah.
And this just horrifies Eita.
Yeah.
To the point where after that, he doesn't want anything to do with Marjorie. And he is just like, I can't do this anymore. It is very clear to me that this entire world is far beyond my level of comprehension, and I can't stand... I cannot stand the fact that you did that, Marjorie. I can't forgive you for that.
Yeah.
But I also just can't get over the fact that I basically just saw my girlfriend die in the most horrific way possible, even though it technically didn't happen. That was just an image that it gave him PTSD.
Yeah. There's just some like realistic conclusions or outcomes in this show sometimes where like
the interesting thing with
a normal person sees something like that and they're traumatized by it, and that's just kind of like yeah, of course they would be.
Yeah, the thing with Eita is that he almost consistently throughout this entire series, Keisaku is a little bit more hands-on with the whole flame haze business, whereas Eita typically, you know, he sits back and he's content to just be, you know, the guy on the sidelines. He's content to just be, you know, Marjorie One-san type.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Guy in the chair.
He's the cheerleader.
Yeah.
But this is the one time where the conflict ended up coming to him, and it affected him so badly that he wanted out immediately.
Yeah, which says a lot about this setting.
It really, it's horrifying for a regular person.
Yeah. I mean, like, even the first few episodes do a great job at just instilling this existential dread that, like, the way this setting works is that people just get their power of existence eaten every day, and they don't even know what happens, you know?
The entire first
because
arc,
of the...
Go ahead.
Yeah.
like
and because of the torch system, it's just like the chain, because the torches exist just because what the Crimson Denizens are doing is so detrimental to the balance of the universe that, like, it needs to correct for this by making these sudden changes more gradual, which is why the torches exist, to, like, fill gaps temporarily until everyone can just forget they exist.
Yeah, and we see that in real time with the character of Yukari Hirai.
Yeah.
Which, that is a really good opening arc to kind of showcase what kind of world we're in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really iconic pilot in that Yuji tries the entire time to make her remember, to make her be a person again, but it's all for naught, and she just fades away. And that one shot of the rotating torch, and then it's just on Shana's finger, and she just has this glare in her eye, and it's just a really great shot.
So good, so good.
Where it's like it was inevitable. She knew it, and we knew it, and then it happened, and she just looks at the, like, little tiny flame on her finger, like, well, this was the result, wasn't it? You know.
I told you this would happen, but you didn't believe me.
Yeah, but yeah, those first few episodes, especially with just all the narration from Yuji, which is something that I brought up to you, which is that the first season of this anime aired in 2005.
Yeah.
And this is kind of before the light novel explosion. And, like, the standards for how to adapt these things to animation hadn't quite been solidified yet.
Yeah.
And so what we're treated to is a show that is not afraid to include a lot of narration, both from Shana and Yuji. And in the initial episodes, definitely from Yuji, where, like, the first few episodes are really just a boy mulling about the nature of his own existence for, like, 4 episodes.
It really is, but I find that interesting because it gives us it develops Yuji more as a character. It makes him feel more real.
Yeah.
Which is something that a lot of light novel protagonists similar to Yuji don't really have that going for them.
Yeah.
A lot of them just feel...
And a lot of it is made worse because these adaptations have such a bad habit of cutting out the narration that forms attachments to these characters. But Shana's because it came so early, that practice hadn't really been solidified yet. So, like, there is a lot of narration, internal narration, which gives you a deeper insight into these characters, and Yuji in particular, since a lot of the early themes are, like, focused on, like, how he's viewing the reveals that have happened around him.
Interestingly, it reminded me a little of the other major light novel series that Noisy Ito did the illustrations for, Haruhi Suzumiya, where the anime made a point of keeping as much of Kyon's narration as possible, because the whole point of the original novels is that Kyon is an unreliable narrator, and we see everything through his eyes, but everything is, like, everything is slightly skewed.
Sure.
So that, like, you don't know if Kyon's necessarily telling the truth about what's happening. And sometimes his internal thoughts, what you think are internal thoughts, people in the real world just react to his internal thoughts. It's like, oh shit, he said that. He actually said that out loud.
Yeah.
Like, it plays with that internal monologue.
Yeah.
And the anime does a really clever job of kind of adapting that, where a lot of his internal monologues are off screen. Like, his mouth is off screen. It's framed so, like, it's behind his head, or it's like it's from the nose up, stuff like that. And and occasionally shots are just framed in such a way where we don't necessarily see what Kyon sees, and we have to just kind of go off of what he tells us as a viewer about what he's seeing. And Shakugan no Shana reminded me a little bit of that, just in the matter of they kept a lot of Yuji's internal narration.
Yeah, which is just so important for both establishing his character and establishing what we're supposed to feel about the setting, which comes into play much later. Um,
Yeah,
but like,
that's an important part of Haruhi as well, is that Kyon is our focal character that we see into this, strange other world that is, hidden underneath our world.
Kevin, you're gonna need to win a Game Awards a bit if you want to do a Haruhi episode. I'm just letting you know.
I know.
You're not stealing my episode out from under me, Kevin.
I'm just saying there are similarities.
Sure.
But I did find it very interesting that, I really enjoyed the fact that Shakugan no Shana actually kept a lot of that.
Yeah, it's so important. I don't think you could adapt it any other way. Because just so much of how you understand Shana and Yuji in particular comes from their internal narration. Shana would come across as a much different character if you didn't get her internal thoughts early on.
She
would come across a lot closer to how she was misinterpreted, which again feels into my
a lot closer to Luis.
Not that close, but
more like Taiga.
yeah. Well, yeah, it's like it fuels my theory that a lot of these other writers just were only kind of half paying attention to the pilot, and then they just stopped watching, and they just based everything on that.
They read the first book and they're like, I understand everything now. You do not understand anything.
Yeah. Well, and it's just like that internal narration is just so. It's really a case study, both historically and how light novels used to be adapted. But also just the benefits of doing so are just immense. Yeah, so there's that. But so like it is an urban fantasy. It's like it's a pretty even slice between like pseudo slice of life drama and like urban fantasy action set pieces and whatnot. Sometimes leaning a little bit more in one way than the other, as many people have pointed out, the first half of season 2 has very little action in it.
Yeah, it becomes a slice of life anime for a bit.
Yeah, but it's kind of necessary to flesh out some of the character dynamics and also kind of to take a breather from a lot of from the bevy of action at the end of the first season.
It's completely necessary,
yeah,
because we need to develop these characters more, and we need to see them more in kind of everyday situations.
Yeah, and you need to understand why this is all worth fighting for, to get some attachment to this, this dumb city with the stupid bridge with the 2 A's on it, great landmark. That sounds sarcastic. It's not. I actually really enjoy the bridge. But like you need that everyday life both to change Shana, but also to establish why all of this is worth fighting for in the first place.
I think my microphone's being weird again. Hold on.
Okay. I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to keep saying words, making noises with my mouth, just, throwing up verbiage onto the waveforms, How you doing? How's it going?
Okay, I think I got water? It. I got it.
All right. Fixed.
We good.
Fixed it with. Yeah. Let's talk a bit about the production for a second.
Season 1 don't look that great.
It looks like it's from 2005.
It really does. But
it has good direction, I will say.
That's one thing that really, you mentioned going in that this definitely looks like an anime from 2005, and admittedly it does. But something that really shocked me about Shakugan no Shana is, even though early on the animation quality isn't the best, it still has a really nice visual style.
Yeah.
And the visual direction is super engaging and creative, that it kind of works to the benefit of the show, despite the fact that the animation is fairly limited and stilted early on.
Yeah.
And it does slowly improve throughout the entire series. Season 2 is a couple steps higher than Season 1 in terms of production quality, but then you get to Season 3,
Yeah.
And God, that season is just flat out gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks really like the thing about it is that like there's it's not like a Sakuga fest, but like it's just such consistently good visual direction and just a consistent amount of like just movement in general.
Yeah,
Even if it's not like firing on all cylinders at all times, like it's consistently good. It's clean, it's expressive, like it's crisp, it's like everything it needs to be, you know.
Yeah, and I really enjoy that element of it.
Yeah, and like just the visual direction throughout the show, there are just some very memorable uses of shadows and color, and just like it sticks with you, you know. Like a lot of scenes just really stick with me because of just how snappily they're directed. And it really like it doesn't always have the most animation, but it uses it very well to its advantage.
The ending fight with Sabrak is a really, really good example of that.
Yeah.
That is just a really well done fight.
Yeah. Yeah, every now and again they go ham like that. Yeah. So I think it, but like, there's more to the show than just establishing light novel conventions, though, Kevin.
There are.
And that is that what I find most impressive about Shana, what really makes it stick in my memory and makes it, I think, more historically significant than people give it credit for, is the fact that it not only established a lot of these conventions, but by the end of its run, it ended up deconstructing a lot of them.
It broke a lot of the conventions, is what it did.
Yeah, so I think it's finally time we start talking about season 3. Because
season 3 almost immediately starts off by just throwing an absolute curveball at the audience by showcasing right off the bat Yuji's the villain. Or, sorry, Yuji is the antagonist, rather.
Yeah.
Because I can't call him a villain, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yuji becomes the antagonist of this season, and Shana is the one who has to fight him.
Yeah. And it's such a subversive take on their roles as like a pseudo self-insert and, you know, light novel heroine from the outset. But it perfectly ties into everything the show was building.
It does.
As it flips its setting upside down. Because as I told you, not only does it fit Yuji's character in terms of, you know, how logical he is, you know, and analytical, and his like surprising ruthlessness under the hood.
Yeah,
you know?
you mentioned that a lot of that early ruthlessness was actually taken out of the anime adaptation. Like when Marjorie tries to kill him,
not Wilhelmina.
Wilhelmina, right? My bad. When Wilhelmina tries to kill him, he actually tries to go behind her and kill her back, but like you know, he's not strong enough to actually do it.
Yeah.
But like it's an early indicator that like, you know, there's some darkness hiding inside this kid that you got to keep an eye on. Although it does come into play during the ending of season 2.
Yeah.
Just his absolute extreme determination and ruthlessness does come in at the end of season 2 during the anime exclusive fight inside of the giant monster robots.
Yeah, well, I mean, the stuff before that with the old man, that all was in the novels where he chokes the old man out.
Yeah. That was brutal. That was fucking brutal.
Yeah, it's still, that progression is still there in the anime. It's just not quite as strong, but I feel like in a way it works to its advantage because the flip is so much more. Because the flip is so much more shocking, it puts us more in Shauna's headspace, which I think is what they were really going for.
Yeah, because Shana doesn't actually get to see a lot of this.
Yeah.
So we end up seeing it a little bit more from Shauna's perspective, and we end up wondering, why the hell is Yuji doing all this?
Yeah. But like, what makes it so magical is not only does it fit their characters, but it's also a great test of their relationship up to this point, which had been, you know, very supportive and cute and whatever, but it hadn't really been tested like this. Yeah. Putting them on opposite sides of the central conflict of the series, really. But in doing so, Because the interesting thing is, it's made pretty clear early on that like whatever Yuji's doing, he's doing it for Shana.
Yeah.
Like everything is for Shana, to the point where like the series is actively dismissing anything that's not Shana related.
Yeah, even the man himself is like, I'm doing everything for you, Shauna. Why can't you see this?
Yeah.
Why can't you understand that this is all for your own good?
Yeah, so many lines just articulate that, and Josh Greeley does such a fantastic job with that.
Yeah, let's touch on the English dub real quick, because...
Sure. I know we're bouncing around, but there's just a lot to say.
There's really a lot to say, but, like, touching on the English dub real quick, the first season was done by Geneon, with Ocean Productions doing the actual recording.
Mm-hmm.
And seasons 2, 3, the OVAs, and the movie are all done by Funimation in-house.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest, as much as I do really enjoy that first season, as much as I really do like that dub for the first season, I think the change in voice actors and who they actually got to play the characters works better for seasons 2 and 3 than... It works better for seasons 2 and 3 than the actors for season 1 did for that season.
Yeah.
In particular, there are exceptions, like, we went from Brad Swale to Greg Ayers with Keisaku, which...
makes no sense, and we don't get it, and we'll never get it.
I got used to it after a point, but even then, there were just moments every now and then where I'm like, that voice doesn't fit.
Yeah.
There were just those moments.
There's some weirdness, but there was a lot of care to sort of ensure a similar cadence or feel between the casts.
Yeah.
And I learned from watching one of the episode commentaries that at least Jeremy Lee and Josh Greeley actually did watch the first season, the dub, and take that into account into their cadences, their performances.
Yeah.
So there is a decent sense of like continuity in terms of how the characters speak, even though they're different voices doing it, which is nice. It makes the adjustment a lot easier than it probably otherwise would have been. And I definitely agree that like later on, I don't think those original actors would have been as good for what they had to eventually do as Josh and Jeremy specifically ended up being.
Yeah, Josh Greeley really ended up carrying a lot of season 3's like most important moments, just because he's the one that like the plot kind of sides with later, but we'll get to that.
Well, just it's a great examination of his character, and he has a lot of very defining moments in the season that Josh Greeley just does such an excellent fucking job.
He really does.
Bringing to life just so many lines that just stick with you. Also, again, I told you, I DM'd you about this as well, but like I also just want to shout out whoever the fuck Bruce Carey is, because he's also great.
Yes.
As the snake of the festival that's inhabiting his body. He has this detached otherworldliness to him, despite his like obvious passion for what he's doing, granting wishes and whatnot. He has a very godlike voice, but not in the same way Kent Williams is doing with Alistair, where it's a very booming voice of God sort of thing.
Yeah, the voice of the snake is very clean and almost ethereal in a way.
Yeah.
Because
it's very different.
It is, but it works so fucking well for that character. And the way that Yuji and the snake kind of sound similar but different at the same time, because if you'll notice, in season 3, Yuji begins to speak with a very similar vocal cadence to the snake of the festival. Like, the way that he speak does change.
Yeah,
the way that he speak do change. No, sorry.
Yeah.
Speaks.
Yeah, they kind of influence each other. As they're sharing this body, they kind of influence each other's speech patterns to an extent.
Yeah, which I think Josh Greeley does an amazing job there. But, like, you do get the sense that the snake of the festival is... I just love the contrast between, like, Yuji and the snake's voices, but also, like, they sound similar to each other in how they deliver lines and how they say certain things. They sound similar to each other enough that when it switches between the two of them, there's just a slight disconnect that makes it unnerving.
Yeah, I especially like it when there are certain times where they seem to be almost speaking for each other. There's one part in that big climactic scene in episode 4 of season 3, one of the best episodes of anime ever made, which we'll get into more in a bit. But like, there's that one point where it's the snake who says, "I'm determined to have you by my side when the world changes," or something.
Yeah.
And like, that doesn't sound like something the snake should be saying, but like at this point, like they're just shifting back and forth.
And there's also multiple points where Yuji will say, this is what Yuji Sakai desires. Like, he speaks in the third person.
Yeah.
Which implies that this is actually, like, the snake speaking for Yuji.
Yeah. But, like, yeah. But then, like, it clears up a bit when he starts emphasizing that there's no one else speaking for him.
Yeah.
So, like, it kind of goes back and forth in that sense. Which is interesting, because it kind of implies that, like, unlike a lot of other contracts where, like, the god is sealed in its own vessel, like a pendant or a book or whatever, Yuji's body is the vessel. So like, I feel like the contract he has with the Snake of the Festival might work in a different way, where like they kind of not completely merge, but they kind of like bleed into each other a little bit, which is
Yuji actually does imply that. He says that like they aren't necessarily separate, but they're not the same person. It's just that they've merged, but they are still their own separate individual personalities. They just kind of heavily influence each other as they speak and like as they continue doing on what they do.
Which I think the effect is a lot better in the dub, because in the Japanese version it's just Sho Hayami screaming. He's just yelling, which I never thought was quite as, because it's just very obvious when it's Sho Hayami, because it's Sho Hayami, you know, and like it's just like whenever the snake's talking, Sho Hayami just shows up to yell.
Yeah,
and like
Sho Hayami, I feel like you're good at what you do, but
I just feel like it's not quite as impactful as this like very ethereal, otherworldly voice speaking through Yuji. That comes with his awesome wardrobe change.
Yeah, Snake of the Festival looks fucking badass.
he got the drip though.
He do.
The funny thing about it is that like it's a darker outfit, but not necessarily like a super edgy one either.
Yeah, it just kind of showcases that like Yuji has kind of become more than what he was before, and that like there's clearly another presence within him that is working with him, not necessarily influencing him, because it's very clear that like the intent of the snake and the intent of Yuji, what they want to do, overlaps a lot.
Yeah.
It overlaps a lot.
Yeah.
So it's not really necessarily that, you know, the Snake of the Festival is pushing Yuji to do anything. And it's not that Yuji is trying to, you know, push back on the snake and say that it's like, no,
they're very in unity. They
are,
aligned.
which is which I found such an interesting dynamic between the two of them.
Yeah, you're kind of led to believe that like Yuji has been brainwashed or corrupted by like essentially the boss of Balmosque, the villainous organization up to this point. But not only does the Snake of the Festival have noble goals, but he's also kind of chill and like doesn't like, Yuji's not being manipulated. He's not being, you know, lied to. He's not being like, in so many other shows that would be the case where like it's a corruption or it's a manipulation, but no, it's just that their goals happen to align.
Yep. And like that makes it a really compelling dynamic.
Yeah. But like this whole turn of events, what I love about it is that it ties into Yuji's character, but it also serves as a great meta deconstruction of self-insert characters in general and their relationship with the story being told. This is one of those things that's always hard to vocalize. Like, I'm so good at writing things, I'm not good at speaking them. But like, as I've communicated to you though, like it twists our relationship with the setting and with the heroine in one fell swoop, because when you get down to it, this was the only direction the series really could go, because it didn't really have much of an overarching plot outside of just there's a balance to be protected, and there are crimson denizens that eat humans' power of existence to sustain their own, because they're not from here, so they can't really generate their own power of existence. And so like it's just locked in this cycle of conflict. The story itself is kind of emblematic of a typical monster hunting story, like a monster of the week type story, where like there are just monsters and we fight them, and that's the story, you know. And so this is like the only direction it could go, which is flipping the setting on its head and examining in several ways how that's horrifying, both with all the existential dread and whatnot, but also smaller things like Ata's, you know, trauma, essentially.
Yep.
And it's the mission of the flame haze is deconstructed in various ways. As dull as it is, Marjorie's flashback about the little Ukrainian boy Yuri, who you know, got into the flame haze, became a flame haze to save people and not to protect the balance, and what a mistake that was for him personally, because the setting just doesn't really accommodate that.
See, I actually found that particular episode way more interesting than the ones in season 1 where we have flashbacks.
That is true.
To Shana's
yeah,
childhood.
that yeah. Well, it's also a lot shorter.
Yeah, true.
But like, yeah. We'll say that before we get any further. We're just gonna say that flashback sequence in season 1 is the weakest part of the show.
It's just 3 straight episodes where I was just waiting for it to end. Like, I was paying attention and I was like absorbing the information, but at the same time I was like, this needs to be like half as long as it is.
Yeah, it's overindulgent. It goes on too long. It's probably the biggest speed bump in the show, because it has such a strong opening and the second arc is really strong, but then you get to this flashback arc and it's just
Yeah, the pace of the first season just grinds to a halt.
Yeah, everything just grinds to a halt just so we can get. I guess we needed to know this, but like it just goes on too long for what it needs to establish. Yeah, it's one of those little things that make Shana hard to recommend, but we'll talk about that more. But skipping back ahead, the way the Shana final deconstructs the relation, the nature of the setting and the nature of the conflict between the flame haze and the crimson denizen, where because the snakes, when Yuji and the snakes' goals are revealed, the crimson denizens become the more sympathetic ones, which on paper they always would have been. It's just that the ones that we'd seen up to this point had kind of embraced the fact that being a villain is what they have to do, you know?
Yeah, because up until we learn what the goal of Yuji and the snake are, like, before we know what their goal is, all we know is, you know, crimson denizens consume the existence of humans, and flame haze have to stop them to maintain balance in the world. That's all we really know.
Yeah.
But then it's kind of showcased that, you know, what the end goal of Balmaske, and ultimately what the end goal of all crimson denizens is to actually create another world, another universe where they can live in peace, and they can have a bountiful amount of power of existence that they can consume.
Yeah.
Without it having an adverse effect on, you know, without it having an adverse effect.
Yeah.
They want to get out of the flame haze's hair.
Yeah.
Because they know that if they continue living the way that they do, they will just be hunted down by flame haze for all of eternity. And that is not a life that any crimson denizen wants to live.
And while a lot of them have just kind of embraced, because you have to remember, like, on paper, these are a tragic lot. They came over to the human world from the Crimson Realm because they were fascinated by it, and they found themselves unable to return. It's literally described, the Crimson World is literally described as a world which can no longer be reached.
Yep.
And so, because they're not from here, though, they need to consume power of existence to, well, exist. So, the world that they admired and loved, you know, they have to cause chaos in it. They have to distort it in order to be allowed to exist there. It's just that over time, over the millennia, that a lot of them
Yeah.
have sort of embraced their role as the monsters, you know?
Yeah, they've
But
kind of
like,
just accepted the fact that it's like, well, I'm a villain now. Might as well just lean into it.
yeah, because, you know, they're going to be hunted no matter what anyway. If they want to, they have to consume to exist, and they're going to be hunted if they do. So for a lot of them, they fall into, you know, more cartoonish villainy, because that's just kind of all they can do.
Yeah, it just
Which I think
becomes a
is
matter of, why not be ambitious about this?
which I love that as a meta subversion on this monster hunting formula, where like the monsters were really just beings of their own that really had no choice but to become the monsters in this setting, just as the flame haze, you know, had no choice but to hunt them. You know, this setting literally contextualizes itself in its own genre, and then deconstructs, you know, how we got here, but also how we end this, which is something that a lot of monster hunting series never really get around to, is that they don't contextualize why this setup exists in the first place, and they also don't make a point to actually end it. You know, a lot of similar series like this, you get the sense that like we hunt monsters, we will always hunt, and then like they'll end, it's like the adventure continues, and like like monster hunting is just a thing that happens.
Yeah.
But this series goes out of its way to deconstruct the notion of a setting like that as something that's both existentially horrifying, but also very tragic for everyone involved, because the monsters exist to be hunted, and the hunters exist to fight until their luck runs out and they can't anymore. And the entire plot shifts to Yuji, our self-insert, our window into the world, realizing that that's all that this setting can ever be, and wanting to save the person he loves from that fate. It twists our dedication and admiration for the heroine in such a direction where, you know, like I said, it's like the darkest version of the must protect meme.
It really is. It really is.
Where like Yuji's conclusion is essentially to fix the setting so that the girl he loves doesn't have to has to keep fighting, living a life of strife and dying in battle like all those before her. And what he does is essentially just lock her away until he's done doing that.
Yep.
Which is like, you know, it's like, how many posts have you seen about the character people love where it's just like, I just want to lock them in a box and give them therapy, you know?
He literally did that.
Yeah. Where it's like, yeah, and like it makes literal these feelings that a fan or an audience member would have, and it deconstructs them in that way by flipping its setting upside down and turning its viewpoint character into, you know, a more ruthless anti-hero for the sake of, you know, fixing what's broken and protecting the person he loves most. And there's something very deeply existential about this relationship, because when you really think about it, you know, in both an in-universe sense and in a meta sense, they were made for each other. And like the series makes a point early on, Yuji's first motivations before he realizes he has the Midnight Lost Child were to leave an impact on the one person who would remember that he was there. I know
where you're going with this.
Yeah. His entire motivation was to leave an impact on the one person who would remember he was there. And so their entire relationship began on the foundation of, this girl is the only person who will ever remember me if I'm gone. But also from the flip side, this torch is the only person who told me I could be more than just a flame haze, you know?
Yep.
And so not only do their roles intersect and complement each other in just a interpersonal sense, but also from a metatextual sense, relating audience surrogate, well, pseudo audience surrogate, he has more character than that, but that's also part of the point, and heroine, which is such a brilliant thing to me, that the series not only established these conventions but also deconstructed these conventions by the end. And like, you really get the sense that was kind of always the plan, because everything ties in so well thematically, um like we said, one of the in the finale, you know it all kind of comes back around to Yuji's fear of being forgotten, that existential dread he first felt when the nature of the world he lives in was revealed to him. That's still something, even at the very end, that still drives him.
Yeah, like there is that moment when he just shouts down to Misaki City, you know, do not like God, what was the wording again?
Remember me, even if it's only. I was like, remember me, remember that I was here, even if it's only in your dreams.
Yep, yep. Yeah, that.
Yeah,
God, so good.
which is quite a thing because he takes this so seriously that he's leaving everything behind
But
for
that
the sake
fear
of
still
protecting
drove
it.
him.
Yeah, which is it's there's something like deeply compelling about just the existential themes in this series from the outset, and how they end up developing into a metatextual deconstruction of the setting itself, of the genre. Like maybe I go too far in some places, but like I showed you in the essay I wrote, you could easily swap out the phrase power of existence for narrative significance.
A little bit. Like I feel like there is definitely a little bit of a meta. There is a little bit of a meta narrative in there, admittedly.
Yeah, because if you swap it out for narrative significance, what happens when someone's narrative significance wanes out? Well, they're erased from the story, and the universe is literally retconning itself to ensure that they're because the way power of existence is described is the influence something has on the world around it, which sounds a lot like a plot element to me. And if you erase a plot element, what do you have to do? You have to retcon everything around it to account for its absence. And that's exactly what the whole torch system does in practice, is that it's allowing these people to fade gradually and then erasing everyone's memory so that they were never there. It is not only reducing its impact on everything around it, but it's retroactively eliminating any impact it ever had, in an almost cosmic retcon sort of sense.
Yeah, so bringing it back to how Shana influenced a lot of light novels that came afterwards, one of the things that I found really noticeable about Yuji is that he is very, very different from a lot of light novel protagonists that he ended up influencing later.
Yeah.
And by the end of and like you can see like so one of the interesting things about that is that a lot of light novel protagonists post Yuji that take after Yuji from like an archetypical standpoint.
Yeah.
A lot of them are forgettable. A lot of them are just like the same character copy pasted with like a couple of new traits just kind of thrown in for flavor.
Yeah.
They can be kind of swapped in and out of certain series, and very little will actually change. What's really, really interesting about Yuji is the fact that his entire motivation is that he doesn't want to be forgotten, and he doesn't just want to... He wants to be remembered. He wants to be seen as, the unique person, Yuji Sakai, that he always was in his head.
Yeah. Yeah.
In his existence.
Yeah.
And by that measure, even in a metatextual narrative, Yuji is so different from everything that came afterwards that, like, Yuji Sakai is kind of one of a kind.
Yeah. And, like, what I love about the direction Season 3 goes is that he's like, there's an element where, like, and it's like one of those things that I find really sad when you look at the response to it, where one of the things Season 3 accomplishes is that it allows Yuji Sakai to step out of Shana's shadow and, like, become worthy of her as, like, as like a partner, as a, which, like, the whole show is building towards that, but, like, it's the move that needed to happen for that to make sense, and it happens in a subversive way that you wouldn't have expected. I really just like that line where he tells her, I became stronger just like you wanted.
Just like you wanted. God.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I will fight my way into your heart and such not, where it's like he's clawing his way from where he started as an irrelevant torch, which despite everything that happened in the first 2 seasons, the status quo didn't really change all that much in terms of like where things actually stood. It was all, Yuji understood that it was all kind of transient,
Yeah.
where Shana has a relatively happy life now, but like denizens will keep coming, fights will keep ensuing, and eventually their luck will run out, and so it's protecting her from this that drives him. But I fucking lost my train of thought, god damn it. You know what I mean? Like, I really enjoy, like, and this is throughout, but like it gradually builds where like he goes from like a pure viewpoint, but even throughout the first arc, he establishes his own thoughts and beliefs around not only the way the setting works, but his thoughts and feelings on his own existence.
Yeah.
That makes him his own character. But like even in a more general sense, just in an interpersonal relationship kind of way, he butts heads with Shana more than you would expect a character of this type to do.
He really does. Like,
and like
there's a more clear give and take between the two of them.
Yeah, there's a like he doesn't just exist to prop her up, like he is his own person and he has his own feelings about things, and like so many other light novel protagonists just come across as like weird simps. And like I guess you could say that here, but like they fucking do something with it. Like it's like when it comes to it, like it's the point, and it doesn't happen. It happens in a way that directly opposes what she wants, and not, just doesn't go along with it, because like the tragedy, not the tragedy, but like the subversive thing about Shana is the fact that she is very much indoctrinated by the Flame Haze ideology, by what her role in the story is.
Yeah.
Which kind of forms the basis of the conflict between them, which is that Yuji's trying to break the setting and she's kind of trying to uphold it.
Wait, no, Yuji, no, stop, that's not how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, there's a lot of moments in season 3 that really scream out in a metatextual sense. This is not how things work. This is not how things are supposed to go. He's breaking the story. And that's what I find, that's something I find so compelling about it, is the fact that it's taking this very set monster hunting setting and just flipping on its head, not only like the morality of the situation, but also the context of ending it and what it means for the two of them. And I just really, it's hard to articulate in a succinct fashion when I don't have my thoughts all written down.
Yeah.
But like, man, I just love the subversive elements of it. I just love how the same series that inspired all these tropes and all these conventions is the same one that broke them apart, but like in a really satisfying sort of way, that where everything around it just sort of exists to prop up not only this deconstruction but also this love story, and it's great,
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, no, I completely agree. Completely.
Yeah. It's just such a, and it's like, if we're talking about reasons why the show fell out of relevance, I think a large part of that has to do with the fact that there's a genuine brilliance. Brilliance is a stupid word. There's a genuine
That's not even
brilliance.
a word.
Yeah, there's a genuine brilliance to this central through line. How Yuji and Shana grow and change and develop, both as individual characters and together, and the gradual deconstruction of the setting and its stipulations and its conventions and the tropes that define our two leads. That all of that shit is like 10 out of 10. It's fucking great. It's perfect. But it takes a while for you to really connect with what the show is doing in that sense.
Yeah.
And everything around it ranges from, you know, mildly interesting to just kind of like, whatever, you know.
Yeah, you described it best in that it's a 10 out of 10 through line wrapped up in a 7 out of 10 show.
Yeah. And like it takes a while for you to really see the fruits of what the show is setting up in its central through line. And until you get to that point, you're just sitting through a lot of cool stuff, but like not particularly like engaging stuff outside of the seeds that are being planted in the sense. Like it's one of those shows where after you're done watching it, you reflect deeply on that central through line, and that's the thing that sticks with you, and that's the thing you can't stop thinking about. But everything else, it just kind of fades away eventually, and you're just like, yeah, that was there.
Like
that was there.
Like it's cute that like, you know, Keisuke and Marjorie eventually get together. That's cute. Doesn't really matter.
But yeah, well, like that's what I think the show is so brilliant, and but I think it plays into that because it's actively, by the third season, it's actively shoving that stuff to the side.
Yeah.
And like the text is screaming at you that like this is all that matters to Yuji, so that's all that's going to matter to you and to the story at large. You know, I don't have time to deal with you, Marjorie, dog. Get your stupid revenge subplot out of here.
He literally speed runs her revenge subplot just so he can hijack the plot.
Yeah, and like that, these are the kind of meta elements I'm talking about, where like her whole revenge subplot, which was fine and all, I guess, is just abruptly brought to a horrifying conclusion just to get her out of the way, so that like what we're supposed to identify with and what we're supposed to care about takes the forefront.
Yeah,
you know, and like all this war stuff that's happening in the background is largely just to establish the scope of what he's doing and how much he's breaking the world around him. But a lot of it is either just rule of cool stuff or it's not super compelling on its own. But I think that kind of feeds into what the show is doing with its deconstruction, which is tearing this universe apart for the sake of these characters being together. And I think that's just... I find that compelling from a meta-textual sense, but that's hard to convey to people. It's hard to tell people there's going to be stretches of the show that you're not going to dislike watching, but like you're not going to remember them very well. You know, they just kind of exist to prop up this central through line that is so good.
Yeah.
You know? And that's, like I said, it's like a 10 out of 10 through line and a 7 out of 10 show. It's an 8.5 out of 10, but it's the best 8.5 out of 10. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's an 8.5, but damn, you're going to remember it.
Yeah. And like a lot of other elements, they range from fine to meh, but because they do such a good job at supporting the central through line and supporting the deconstruction, I don't mind them as much. But I'm also someone who's seen the show twice now. So, like, of course I feel that way. I watch those moments and, like, I get what it's going for. But, like, a newcomer might not get that. So...
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that I had a kind of you as a guide, and also I'm kind of okay with just letting a show do its own thing and just kind of let it take me for a ride. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Some people aren't.
Yeah. Which I think makes the show a bit more difficult to recommend, because you have to meet it on its level and understand what it's doing to really get the most out of it. And this is like what we're talking about, what we're saying is like a weird, it's like a, you know, when you're getting into this level of nuance and subversion, you know, you got to have an eye for that sort of thing, and most people don't. So I think it kind of fell off because the people who saw it either misinterpreted it or retroactively were applying, you know, its own influences back upon it in an unflattering way.
Yeah.
And so what you end up, it's a feedback loop of, you know, not everyone got it, and the people who did get it aren't talking about it anymore. So, you know, it doesn't have that perpetual sort of relevance that other things of the time or other things that were also influential had, because they had more generally appealing elements and not like this sort of niche sort of meta deconstruction love story thing going on. But like if you're into that, it's like super compelling. Like it's interesting to say, like, it might not be one of your favorite shows, but it's certainly one of the most significant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. Like, it's important, and like it touched me on a very deep emotional and intellectual level, and I'm always going to appreciate it for that, even if nobody else does. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I have someone else now that kind of gets how I feel about that, because like, it's been a long time coming, really, talking about how I feel about this, because I feel like I've always just had my own little interpretation of the show that was always so hard to communicate, but now here it is.
Yep.
You know, and it's the kind of thing that we're like, you have to go into it with a certain mindset to really appreciate what it's going for. And I've seen people that do, you know, like they might not go quite as hard on the meta elements as I do because they just don't have Kadaka brain, but like, you know, they appreciate the things that it does.
Yeah.
And I think that's good. I think the show is underappreciated in that sense, you know, like, because while it does have a lot of like just fluff material and just like stuff that just kind of exists to pad out the setting so that it can be torn asunder or whatever, or support the central through line, that central through line is just so fucking effective and beautiful. Like I've told you, and I keep saying it, but like season 3, episode 4, one of the best individual episodes of anime I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, or was it episode 3? Whatever.
No, it's 4. No,
okay.
It's 4.
Okay, 4. Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, I agree, because that is just... It is a single episode that exists to take the entire concept of Shakugan no Shana and turn it completely upside down.
Yeah. And just so many relevant character beats and just such great direction, such snappy... It's so good. It's so good. I would really put that episode up with like Hunter x Hunter 131 or whatever. Like, it's just that good.
Like the one line that really kind of stuck out to me during that entire episode was really at the very end of the episode when Yuji actually, you know, finds Yoshida and kind of explains, well, yeah, I did leave that letter as an indicator to let you know that I was still there, but it was also a way for me to tell you that I was rejecting you, and I did it that way because I knew it would hurt you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God.
So good. So good. So good. So many... Every exchange he has with Shana in the episode is great. Marjorie getting traumatized by her own history is great. The Yoshida stuff at the end is great. It's
to
just
the point
great.
where Marco can't even keep her in check anymore, and she almost breaks her contract with him.
Yeah. And she's like, and she's just in a coma for like most of the season afterward.
She is. She doesn't come back until like over halfway in.
Yeah. But getting let's talk about the conclusion, because boy is it one.
Oh God, wow. So this is something I've been hanging on to for like the entire segment so far, but the entire the way that the show ends actually ends up being kind of a compromise between the Flame Haze and the Crimson Denizens. The Crimson Denizens get what they want.
Yeah.
But the Flame Haze ultimately have one stipulation. If you're going to have this new world, you need to make it a world where humans are not in danger. You cannot consume human existence at all.
Yeah.
And what ends up happening is that the Crimson Denizens end up being moved by the dedication and the drive that the Flame Haze have to protect humans and, you know, doing what they're doing, to where the Crimson Denizens, when it becomes time for them to actually make their wish for Xanadu, all of them pretty much unanimously agree, yeah, we don't want to eat human existence anymore. That's fine. Like, the Flame Haze are right. Let's go for that one. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very meaningful because it's something the denizens, they alter their wish, and that's what they wish for now is they agree. It really goes to show the tragedy of what the denizens have gone through, that they all they want is to escape, and they kind of reconcile with their initial feelings of why they even came here in the first place, which was because they found human society so interesting.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like this the creation of a new world gives them the chance to rediscover why they even came here in the first place. And so yeah, they, of course they agree to that, you know. But it also, the entire conflict up to that point demonstrates, it makes the flame hazes sort of a more morally ambiguous faction as well, because a lot of what they do is just by doctrine and tradition, and you
It's
know.
what they're used to because they don't. They know. We kind of find out the Flame Haze never really bothered to understand why the denizens did what they did.
Yeah.
They just kind of saw them as the bad guys because, oh, you're eating human existence and you want to throw the entire law of the universe out of whack. We can't have that.
Yeah, they're very indoctrinated to their roles as hunters in the story, which is another aspect of the meta deconstruction I love so much, is that like they're basically blinded by their own roles, and they kind
Yeah.
of they've created this whole doctrine around it. Like every time they talk about upsetting the balance or whatever, or some great catastrophe that'll happen as a result of this or whatever, they're always so vague about it. Like they can't actually articulate what they mean by that or the actual mechanics behind it.
Yeah,
They
Shana
just
even mentions that, like, if something bad happens, it'll take hundreds, if not thousands of years for any effects to be shown. Like, that's super vague.
Yeah. And it's and so you understand that like it's not just Shana, like the entire Flameways organization is just sort of blinded by their own doctrine, sort of indoctrinated by their own role in the story as the hunters, as the good guys, you know. And so a lot of the conflict is basically driven by the monsters trying to escape the story they're in, and the hunters not letting them, because that's not how things are supposed to work, you know. It's not the ending, it's not the way of handling things that they were accustomed to, and that's something Shauna wrestles with, and that's something that we're just shown about the organization as a whole. But like, yeah, but on to like the actual conclusion,
Yeah.
which is that Xanadu is formed with that rule, with that stipulation in place. And the show ends in probably the most badass way possible by having a sword fight on top of a kaiju fight, where the entire conflict has boiled down to, I will date you later, screw that, you're dating me now.
I love it.
It's just so fucking great.
It's like, look, Shauna, you don't understand. I did all this bad shit. I need to pay for it. I need to be punished for this. And Shauna's like, fuck that. Get over here.
Well, yeah, because like Yuji's central character flaw has been, despite his selflessness, how insensitive he can be when he thinks when he logically deduces he's doing the right thing, you know. So he went off and broke the universe for Shauna's sake, and now he's telling her we can't be together because I need to atone for it, and you'd make me happy, and that's a problem.
Yeah,
and like that's not really fair to her. No,
it really isn't. But like, it's it's one of those things you see where he's coming from, because you see he realizes that he did end up hurting Shauna inadvertently.
Yeah,
and he feels like he needs to atone for that. He can't really accept Shauna's love until he feels like he has earned it back. Except Shauna don't give a shit, dude. Shauna just wants you now.
she's kind of been obsessed with you since like episode 2, so you know that's not gonna fly.
Yeah, sorry, Yuji. You're winning the Shauna's winning the Yuji Bowl today, whether you like it or not.
She's winning the Yuji Bowl, but she's also gonna take the Yuji Bowl and run with it to another fucking reality, just so no one else can have it. So
pretty much.
That's what's on the docket for today. And it's just so beautiful the way, like, I just love how the Urusei is recontextualized again.
It's so good. Just
we didn't
telling
talk
him,
about-
shut up, shut up, shut up.
Yeah.
Stop being stupid.
I swear she only does it like twice in the last season,
She
and one
does,
time
and
it's the horrifying one in episode 4 where like she means it for real this time, and then it's in the finale where like it's more sort of reaffirming.
Yeah,
So,
the Urusei only happens those 2 times in season 3, but they make both of those times fucking count.
yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah. It's just so fucking heartwarming. Just, get you a girl that'll just headbutt you and forgive you for your war crimes. It's fine,
Unironically.
Yeah. And then they the entire last stretch is basically just an interpersonal conflict of just getting Yuji to accept that it doesn't like, how do they phrase it? It's like believe in love over whatever is logically making sense to you right now.
Yeah.
Sure, you need to atone or whatever, but you don't have to do it alone. And I think that's just a beautiful message of like understanding and communication and forgiveness and
It is.
love, and it's fucking beautiful.
I love it.
And that last scene where they like fly off together is just so fucking, my heart, it's on the floor.
Like that entire ending scene had me like in a split face grin the entire time because it was just so good.
Yeah. It's so good.
It felt so perfect.
They just rip my heart out and throw it on the floor. It's fine.
This is exactly what I want.
Yeah, it's like, again, a completely different context, but I'm gonna bring it up again. Ending's paramount, and this ending's fucking slaps.
It's a 10 out of 10 ending. It really is.
It's beautiful. I tear up every time. It's great. And yeah,
it's like this is literally what this entire show has been building up to, and man, it feels good we finally got here.
Yeah, it's just so upswelling that their love and their optimism overcame how existentially terrifying this setting is. And now,
more than that, their love managed to transcend both of them becoming more like sworn enemies.
Yeah.
If that ain't the best love in the world, I don't know what the fuck is.
Yeah, it just feels so palpable and earned because it was tested in this way.
It was tested so completely thoroughly. And both of them still had that intense, burning dedication to one another the entire time. It never wavered. Not once for either of them.
Yeah. Like, yeah. It's like... Yeah,
they
it's actually
fought
almost...
for each other over their own ideals, and in the end, both of them kind of win, really.
Yeah, and I brought this up to you, where it's like, in a meta sense... First of all, take a shot every time I've said the word meta in this episode.
And I'm on the
floor. Right next to my heart. Don't follow my heart, please. But like, I'm gonna need that back later.
I know.
Or maybe right now, actually. Yeah. Fuck. What was my point? God damn it. Like I DM'd you about this, where I said like the themes of the show are taking such center stage throughout season 3.
Yeah.
That like, as part of the meta narrative, where it's like, that's kind of what it feels like to be so dedicated, to be so in love, is that the world around you just sort of slips away. It fades into the background. And that's literally, in like a textual sense, that's what's happening, because you're watching all these battle scenes or whatever. You're watching this like, strategy talk with the Flame Haze leadership or whatever, or the fucking eel in the tank or whatever going, Chuck Huber is telling us how the battle is going in real time. Very immersive stuff. But like, you're just watching all that, and you're just trying to get it out of the way so you can get back to like the really compelling shit.
Yeah, it's like, where's like, the love story?
But like that, to me, that's a great meta deconstruction of like, it's making the audience feel the same longing that the characters do, where the world and its problems are taking a back seat to what really matters to us and to them. And even though all this other shit is happening, all they really see and all they really think about is each other. And like we, the audience, get to feel that with them, you know, because we have to sit through like all the, you know, ramifications of their actions, you know, just to get back to that stuff that we really care about. And that's why those moments where they, you know, where they have those confrontations, they hit so much harder, is because we had that time away. And so like, you know they say about, you know, absence, longing, heart fonders, or whatever, you know, yonder fonder makes
absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah. But like we're feeling that in real time, and it's brilliant. And I don't expect anyone else to get that or feel that way or interpret a fucking TV show in that way. But like I am, and that's just like, to me, that's brilliant about it. Like I think it's done with purpose and intention to like make us like. There's a reason, like, so like I feel like there's a reason this love story hits so hard, is because like the meta narrative itself is shifting everything so that this is what really matters, and we, the audience, are taken on that ride. I don't know, I just feel like in a meta sense it's just fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I agree. I'm basically with you on all this.
Yeah. So like it's not a perfect series. It's kind of niche. It's not for everyone. But I do wish more people would remember it, because like if you're the kind of person who really appreciates urban fantasy, genre deconstruction, and just a good fucking love story with like really humanized and realized characters, like, man, few things hit as hard as Shakugan no Shana, honestly, in like the very specific way it does. And you do have to put up with some content that isn't the most compelling, but like when you get to the stuff that actually is, it's just like it's fucking everything, man.
It feels so good when you finally get to it.
Yeah, and it just leaves you with such a good, uplifting taste in your brain mouth. I don't know.
Brain mouth.
It's good. It's my pleasure receptors. They're pleased.
Yes.
You know. Yeah. The TV show was good. I don't know. It's just like, it's like, it really is I really don't like the phrase some more than some of its parts, but it really is, you know, because like moment to moment, it might not always be the most compelling. You might not always see the point, but when you finish it and you sit back and you reflect upon the stuff that really hit hard, the stuff that, you know, really either emotionally or intellectually, you know, affected you, you realize that there's really nothing else like this show.
Yep.
And I think it's beautiful, and I think most anime fans, if they haven't seen it, should, if only for historical context reasons, but also just because I think more people would be into this than they think. You know, like I think if you're like I don't know, I just want other people to feel the emotions I felt when I watched this both the first and the second time. And like it's one of those shows that I will definitely return to every so often, you know, just because, you know, that through line is just so perfect, you know, like he really stumbled upon gold here, like, you know, where, you know, just like just gushing at this point. Man, that central stuff is so good. It's literally like, yeah, 10 out of 10 through line and a 7 out of 10 show, 8.5. But the most memorable is 8.5. The most important, 8.5. Some things that you appreciate in media, they go beyond numbers, honestly.
They do.
Like, there's so many things where it's just like, some of the things that I can't stop talking about, some of the things that I obsess over, people will be like, oh, so it's the best thing ever. I'm like, not really. but it has these interesting elements. It's so interesting to analyze, to discuss, that like it becomes more significant in my mind, even if it isn't objectively like the best thing.
Yeah.
And this kind of falls into a similar category where it's like, is it the best anime? No. Is it like, you know, does it even, you know, is it going to be in the Mal top 100? Probably not. But like it's significant, and it does things that no other series does, and like it has all this historical context surrounding it, but also just I think it's just such an engaging meta narrative and love story that I can't help. I want to recommend it even though I know it's probably in vain.
Yeah.
You know. So that's Shakugan no Shana. It means a lot to me.
And I can absolutely see why.
Yep. That's the segment. Fuck it.
All right.
You know? I feel like I just said the same thing 10 times, but each time was more impassioned than the last, so that's fine.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah. Thank you, captive audience, for allowing me to gush about this rapidly aging anime classic for a while. So yeah, you can end the segment. This is it.
All right, we'll see you on the third segment.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay now.
Okay, welcome back to the bakagaijinshow. We're doing a Reddit dive.
Yay! It's that thing we do.
You know it. We know it. They know it. Everyone knows it. People on the street be like, "Yo, those are the Reddit dive guys." And I'm like, "Please call us Bakagaijin like normal people."
Please,
we
have a
are
name.
the Stupid Foreigners. We host the Stupid Foreigner podcast.
We don't want you to forget it.
So let's just jump right fucking into it with the Reddit dive. Kevin, there's a question that needs to be posed.
Oh.
Am I the asshole for letting my boyfriend come over even though my roommate wears a hijab?
Oh boy. This may be a problem with your boyfriend.
I live with 4 roommates, and one of them is Muslim and wears a hijab, and that's awesome. I wouldn't even dream of saying it isn't her choice. She doesn't wear it at home, of course, since we're all girls and one guy, and that guy's her boyfriend, and he stays with her in their room. Keep that in mind for later. He wears it she wears it when she's going out or when men accept her boyfriend come over. Absolutely none of us have a problem with it. Her boyfriend is a little messy and loud and sometimes sarcastic enough to irritate people, but it's okay. It's nothing bad. He eats our food sometimes, and although it's frustrating, I'm not going to pick a fight over it. I started dating someone a month ago, and he's been coming over often, almost every day. We usually stick to my room except when we're cooking or sitting in the living room. My roommate is wearing a hijab at home since he's coming over, and I didn't notice until then that she and her boyfriend confronted me about it after my boyfriend left yesterday night. This was like 2 weeks ago, so
yeah.
Whatever. They said it's very frustrating for my roommate to have to wear a hijab 24/7 when my boyfriend is home, and that they want me to restrict him coming over to twice a week. I said, that's ridiculous. Her annoying ass boyfriend is here every single day, and none of us complain. Why should my boyfriend not be allowed over? She said I'm disrespecting her, and it's wrong of me to expect her to wear a hijab 24/7. I told her I'll be bringing my boyfriend over whenever I want, and she doesn't have a say in it. They've been trying to convince me that what I'm doing is horrible and rude, and I don't know what to think. Am I being racist and wrong? It's not my fault she has to cover up. Why should she be allowed to have her boyfriend with her, but the rest of us have to suffer?
Oh, this one's complicated. I don't know. What's Reddit say?
So, the thing you have to keep in mind here, Kevin, and you didn't react to it, so you might not know, but the hijab-wearing roommate here is not respecting their religion. Only your husband and male relatives are allowed to see your hair.
Okay. So there's some hypocrisy here then.
Yeah, some people point out, I love that she's claiming to be a devoutly religious Muslim while also living with her boyfriend without the hijab.
See, I didn't know that. That was a very key distinction I was not entirely aware of. But, ooh, yeah, that's...
Someone points out, if she's going to alter her beliefs so that her boyfriend counts as my hubby, she can count the outside of her room as outside the house and put her hijab on in case a man comes over. Or with that rule, she can also have my roommates count as relatives, therefore their boyfriends count as hubbies, making them also my relatives. No hijab required. I mean, if you're just gonna throw out the rules, throw out all the rules. You know? So, like, the first point to make here is that, like, the other woman is being hypocritical here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, she is picking and choosing when her religion is allowed to be a factor, and the condition for whether or not it applies seems to be whether she personally is inconvenienced or
Yeah.
whether anyone else is. So it's definitely not fair of her to insist upon these practices, but only when other people are inconvenienced by them.
Rules for thee, but not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, OP, you're not the asshole.
Yeah. OP is not the asshole. Now, like, if this actually was her husband, that might introduce a more complicated question.
It would, admittedly.
You know, about. But so I mean, I guess we could talk about that for a second. Is that, like, how do we feel, like, if this was, or if there was no hypocrisy here, if this was her husband, you know, would we feel differently, or is it still unfair of her to not allow other people's boyfriends over for this reason?
Well, that's really the thing, because it's still inconveniencing other people. It's still inconveniencing, but at the same time, this is her own religious, like, belief system, and this is how she has chosen to live her life, and, like, this is just what she God.
Like, I think at a certain point we have to realize that your religious practices don't get to dictate everyone around you.
I agree.
Or at least they shouldn't. And I think there's a genuine cultural criticism to be had that there are some religious practices in the world, not exclusively to Muslims, of course, but, like, that dictate the behavior of everyone around you.
Yeah.
And in a mixed society, in a society of varying cultures, that sort of behavior doesn't really fly.
Yeah.
And so, like, just speaking from our own culture, I would say that even if this was her husband, I think she would still be in the wrong, because she is expecting everyone else to oblige her own practices. And I think she either needs to adjust her living situation such that she can, you know, be as devout as she wants to be, or she just needs to put up with her own, you know, her own practices, you know, and wear the damn hijab, you know. So, like, I think one where the hypocrisy is nice in terms of turning it into OP's favor, because that gives them a lot of ground to work with. But even if it wasn't the case, I still think she's not the asshole, because I don't think that her behavior should be dictated by someone else's religion.
Yeah.
And obviously,
like, your belief system is your belief system, and it shouldn't be an effect on other people.
Yeah. And there's various effects of that. You know, I think every religion, to an extent, exerts its own practices and its own beliefs onto other people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just today, the fucking Don't Say Gay bill passed. So, I mean,
yeah.
You know, in Florida. So, you know, nobody's really exempt from this, except based atheists who don't, you know, exert much of anything on anyone except for obnoxious prattling about things. I mean, look, like, if the worst we can do is just annoy you, then, like, come on. Anyway, so
how bad is it really?
Other people, other cultures may disagree with us, but, like, from our own cultural standpoint, as, like, ideally anyway, a society that is a mixing pot, and a society that should want cultures to, you know, commingle and get along and whatnot, then, like, I think that OP is definitely not the asshole here.
Yeah.
And I think that even if the other person wasn't a hypocrite about this, which they definitely are, but even if they weren't, I think there's still a conversation to be had that they're being an asshole, and if they're going to live in a certain way by their own doctrine, they need to create a living situation for themselves where they are allowed to do that, because I don't think that's everyone else's problem.
I agree there.
Yeah.
I never really liked the whole thing of religious people like shoving their religion and their belief system down other people's throats and forcing them to abide by that just because, you know, it's my belief system. Like, that's your problem, not ours. So, like, fucking get over it. Like, either deal with the consequences of your own belief system, or like fucking whatever. Like, come on. Anyway, you want to send me something?
Yeah. Sorry. Let me get this. It's a good thing Discord's working again, so we can send stuff.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this segment would have been difficult.
Yeah, that would have been a problem. All right. Am I the asshole for getting my friend's son sick and not paying his medical bill? You got your... Oh, dear. Okay. Well, this was so bad that OP deleted their account, so...
Or it might have just been a throwaway that they just didn't want anymore. Who knows?
My friend and her son came over for a visit, and we left her son inside when we went to see the new fence my husband worked on. Her son
See, they have a fence, Kevin.
Shut up! Her son sneaked into my fridge and took out a bunch of brownies, which contained weed. Oh no. I infused them for myself from weed I legally buy. I have a chronic pain. And they were leftovers from the previous day. He ate two, but we didn't notice until he started to act weird and admitted he ate the brownies from my fridge. My friend freaked out and thought he was dying. Oh my god, calm down. And when I told her it was weed, but she refused to believe me, called the ambulance despite me offering to drive him to the hospital. The paramedics checked him over and told her they could bring him to the hospital, but he would recover by himself at home. She took him rather than go to the hospital, and it's been a few week, type right, but has since sent me a bill for $235 claiming I poisoned her son and I should at least pay for the ambulance. I'll admit the fridge was probably too tempting, but her son is 10 and I'm surprised a 10-year-old would just eat stuff from people's fridges without asking. I called her up and told her I couldn't afford to pay it, and also that told her it was legal weed and we could have drove him to the hospital without an ambulance. She said she can't pay it either, and because it's my weed, I should pay for it. The kid was the one who went into the fridge and ate something that wasn't his in the first place. It is your responsibility as an adult to, you know, kind of teach him not to fucking do that. And
even if he
this
does,
is like,
it's your responsibility. You know?
Yeah, and like, the assumption was already there that the kid was smarter than to do that. Like, the trust was given to the child of, you know, don't go in the fridge and eat my shit. And he did it anyway. And he happened to get really high from it.
Yeah. So let me get this straight. Your son ate other people's food without asking, which reflects on you. And then you insisted on getting an ambulance to, when you didn't need one, to go to a hospital when you didn't need to, for some reason, I don't like, yeah, I'd imagine the kid might be a little fucked up, but like, he's not actually sick. He's not actually poisoned.
Yeah, no, the kid's just...
Even the doctors are literally... Even the doctors are like, yeah, he'll get over it, you know? like it's temporary, you know? It's like, you literally could have just driven him home and everything would have been fine. All these costs you are accruing are completely due to your own paranoia, you know? You didn't... You know, the fact that he ate the brownies is a reflection on you, and you know, you have to take responsibility for that behavior. But also, you were told he didn't need a hospital. You took him anyway. You were told you didn't need an ambulance. You could have drove him, and then you paid for an ambulance anyway. None of this is the other person's fault.
Yes.
This is all a mess of your own making, and OP is not the asshole.
Yeah, OP, you good. Kid shouldn't have eaten your weed brownies anyway.
If anything, you should be reimbursing OP for eating his weed.
Yeah, that shit's expensive.
You know, if anything, you owe him money. So, you know,
yeah,
not the asshole. Pretty.
You've poisoned my child with your weed stank.
I really like how that went. You were pretty sure they were going to be the asshole from reading the title.
Yeah, but wow, that That took a
That took a
180.
turn. That took a turn.
The swerve.
Yep. That's as formulaic as these can be sometimes. It's stuff like that that keeps us coming back to Aita.
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for refusing to see other options for a girl and pressing charges for what she did to my son's car? It's like my 39M son 17M Bryce dated our neighbor Lana 17M. F. Sorry. Bryce isn't gay. I'm sorry for implying Bryce was gay. Bryce is not gay. Lana, 17 female. For a year, they broke up mid-January for reasons I don't know. I won't sugarcoat this. I never liked Lana. She's always seemed a little unhinged, controlling, and aggressive. She's always demanding Bryce's attention, and there were quite a few times when she showed up to our house out of nowhere, whether it was 7 a.m. or 11 p.m., because Bryce wasn't answering his phone, screaming and calling him a cheater when it wasn't like that.
God, one of these fucking girls.
The thought of our son getting abused by his girlfriend made us all worried. My wife and I tried to talk him out of that relationship. We said how it wasn't normal or healthy. We didn't want to force the breakup because we feared Lana would lash out to him, so we tried to do it in a sneaky way. We don't know if it worked, but they did end up breaking up. He said after he broke up with her, Lana didn't contact him, which was weird because he expected her to go nuts, but I told him that if fate didn't give him shit, he better not tease it.
That's good advice. That's good advice.
Something, gift horse, something in the mouth, and the looking and such. Now, the problem is that we bought my son a car for Christmas. Ooh, bougie. Nothing fancy, but enough to get him to school, his job, and eventually college. He parks it in our driveway outside our home. Ever since the month began, he had been finding scratches all over the car. We know Lana was doing it, but since it was minimal, my son decided not to do anything, even if we could prove it was her. We have CCTV cameras. Still, something smells bad for me, so I decided to switch one of the cameras facing his car directly, just in case. Well, 2 weeks ago, we got up and found my son's car covered in just a lot of shit, like paint, glue, feathers, confetti.
Oh my God.
The door handles were wrecked, flat tires, paint all over the windows. You get the picture. Bryce and my wife were so distraught. We called the police and handed them the CCTV that showed Lana and her brother, 23M, destroying my son's car.
Oh, Grant, she brought her brother into this shit. Ugh.
We pressed charges.
Fucked.
We pressed charges, and needless to say,
Needles.
You forgot an S there, buddy. Needless to say, Lana's brother went straight to jail, but since she's still a minor, her parents want to make a deal, but I refused. I don't think she should get a way out. Before the police was here, she was laughing her ass off, and she tried to play it cool if she thought this was funny, and if she thought this was funny, she's old enough to face the consequences. My wife and I stand our ground. They said they'll buy my son a better car and put Lana on therapy, but it is not enough. Am I the asshole?
No.
I'm kind of just like, I don't know. If you want to take it. But I think you're also perfectly justified in not taking it. So, you know, here's the thing. It's like, I think if it were me, maybe I would take it. But like, I think they're perfectly justified in not. This is really just a coin flip for me.
It really is.
Where it's just like, whatever you want to do, man. Like, if you want to take it, take it. You're a better person than some of us.
You're justified honestly, it's one of those situations where it's like you're justified in doing either one.
Yeah.
But if you really want to prevent this shit from happening again, then like you're probably taking the better option here. So I'm gonna go not the asshole here.
Yeah, not the asshole. Top comment. This is the wake-up call she needs.
Oh yeah.
So
girl cannot live her life like this. Bitch, you live like this?
Not kosher. Not kosher. Allah does not approve. Probably. I don't know what Allah likes. Haven't really talked to him much.
No, you know the commandments. Thou shalt not key your boyfriend's car.
Oh yeah, the secret 11th one. Yeah, I'm familiar. All right, let's get you one. Let's get you one of these. Let's get you one, Atta. Let's get you one of these. Woo. If fucking my browser will let me copy and paste this. All right, here we go.
Okay, am I the asshole for getting upset with my best friend's son for giving my son cake?
Did the cake have weed in it? Because we've already been through this.
I don't think the cake had weed. My son is 8 years old and recently attended his friend's 8th birthday party. This friend is my best friend's son. I don't let my son have any / much junk food at all, and usually he brings his own snacks for this incident. Ugh. It was a carrot sticks and ranch, two events that have a lot of sugary foods. My best friend bakes a lot and made a special chocolate cake for her son's birthday. When it comes to my son, I don't let him have cake. Oh my god. When it comes to my son, this is personal preference for his health, not for any allergy reasons, and he's not diabetic or gluten-free. Then why the fuck? Okay. Okay. Alright, we got one of these here, people. Strap the fuck in. My son knows he isn't allowed to have cake because of the additives. Ooh!
The cakes are gonna turn the frickin' sons gay.
When he told his best friend this at the party, his friend was apparently got upset and told him it was good cake, not bad like I say, because his mom made it, and it was his birthday cake. My son ate cake, got a sugar rush, and crashed.
Sugar rushes are a myth, by the way, just want to point that out.
Yeah. Making him cranky for the rest of the day after we left the party. I told my friend she needs to have some kind of consequences for her son to teach him not to peer pressure other children into eating things they're not allowed to have.
Hey, Jimmy, want some cake?
Hey, you want some cake, Jimmy? I got some chocolate cake.
Yeah.
Want some chocolate,
One hit's all it takes.
That's all you need, buddy. Hey. Okay, give me it. Okay.
Took a bite of chocolate cake. Got 1 foot already in the grave. 1 foot in the grave. Chocolate cake town.
She said because it wasn't an issue of allergies or health that she's sorry my son was cranky, but she won't be punishing her son or talking to him about it on his birthday. She said also that she'll watch more closely / make sure her husband does in the future, as well as have a chat with him on another day about respecting food habits. I love my friend, but historically, her and her husband have always said yes to their son and not given him any consequences for anything.
Maybe it's because he hasn't done anything.
He literally just wanted his friend to have some of his birthday cake. God! Both of us were present at the party and did not see them sharing the cake. They were outside eating in the backyard with their fathers and some other parents supervising while we cleaned up, so it's not an issue of anyone going behind anyone's back, just teaching children boundaries and respect. I let my son stay for the rest of the party and be with his friend, so it's not like I ruined the day you did afterwards, you bitch. Am I the asshole for being upset with my friend's son, and the fact that she won't punish her son for pressuring my son into eating cake? I feel like top comments.
Okay, you can read it if you want.
Yeah, top comments seems to kind of hit all the bases. God forbid your son experience a moment of joy and celebration. You're the asshole. FYI, sugar rushes are a myth. They have been debunked many, many, many times by scientists and medical professionals. That your son was irritable for the rest of the day was likely because, having had fun at a friend's birthday party, you pissed all over his enjoyment of the party with your ridiculous attitude and over-the-top indictment of the whole party. I can only imagine your son's embarrassment as you having the utter gall to demand consequences for a kid on his birthday who shared his cake with your son, who by your own admission has no health issues that would be affected by said cake. It wasn't the cake that made your son irritable, it was you! I seriously doubt that you being declared the asshole in this will in any way soften your views on such things. It's perfectly fine to want to make sure that your kids eat nutritiously. You also shouldn't be a fascist about it. In fact, the more you try to exert such iron control over it, the higher likelihood you will drive your son straight into an eating disorder. There isn't a doubt in my mind that your son has a stash of candy at various places. Because of you. Edit, thank you all very much for the awards.
Yeah, well deserved. He got a shitload of awards, and I like how his name is So I'm a Reddit user now. Why did you rope me into this? Because she roped me into this.
God, it's
yeah.
just...
This comment section is full of people who had similarly restrictive parents who went on to describe the eating disorders they developed as a result of being deprived of any kind of choice as a child. So that's, just the food for thought.
Yeah, the moment this lady said, "Oh, he doesn't have any eating disorders," I was like, "Oh, yep, the asshole."
What's it smell? It smells like an asshole.
It smells like asshole in here.
Uh-huh. Yeah, don't do that. Don't the harder you
This
push,
tastes like Egoraptor.
the harder you push, the bigger an eating disorder you're just giving your kids,
Yeah.
because they will go behind your back, because you got to let them make their own choices, for better or worse.
And don't keep them from sweets and shit. Like,
Yeah.
that's look, occasional sweets
Yeah.
and candy and cake and stuff is fine. It's variety. It's cheat food. Okay. Look,
Yeah,
if you're
it's,
trying to
look-
get your kid to eat healthy, teach them how to portion control. Teach them how
Yeah.
to, regulate how much sweets they have. Don't take them
Yeah.
away entirely and be like, "Here's some carrot sticks and some ranch for you, darling." No, don't do that. No. That is miserable for the child.
Yeah, people don't learn on their own if you don't let them make their own choices and suffer their own consequences.
Oh my god.
Like you're
Parents
just
like
you're
this
dep-
piss me off.
but yeah, you're depriving your kid of the chance to learn from their own mistakes. If they even make them in the first place, you don't know. So it's like, Anyway,
In this
medium
case, it's
teeth.
not even a mistake. You're just
Yeah.
a bitch.
yeah, medium Tifu time.
Woo!
Today I fucked up by setting myself on fire and revealing my naked body to my boyfriend's parents.
Okay.
This happened around 7 a.m. today. I live with my boyfriend, M24, and his parents and siblings. I, F25, woke up with my boyfriend when his alarm went off, popped on his dressing gown with nothing underneath, and went to cook him eggy bread, as I like him to be full for the workday. It's probably, what is he, a lumberjack?
I think eggy bread is supposed to be like eggs in a nest.
Yeah, something like that. It's probably good to know that his dressing gown is a 2XL and I'm a size small/medium. I don't know. The cooking is going fine, but the sleeves are quite baggy and long. I've cooked in it plenty of times and had no issues. My sleeves got too close to the flame on the hob. The hob. Is this another British person?
Oh, are you British? Are you British, mate?
Got too close to the flame on the hob, and I noticed the sleeve is slightly on fire at the end. I put it out and keep quiet. My boyfriend is in the next room along with his mum. There it is. There it is. It's their mum.
Mum.
There's a lot of British
The
people.
word.
Along with his mum, and I don't like to make a fuss if it's no biggie. I fix the situation. I look down again and see a small flame on my elbow, so again I pat it out and proceed. All of a sudden I feel as if
now you're making them Irish?
Look, I'm like 70% Irish. I can't help it. It just drifts. All of a sudden I feel this sensation of heat in my back, and at this point I realize I'm on fire. Now this isn't big enough for me to make a fuss. I run to the next room screaming, "I'm on fire!" and I just push my back into the wall, try to suffocate the flame. I can tell in my boyfriend and my mum screams that the flame is bigger than I thought.
Oh god.
Their view is that I ran in with my whole arm in flames that quickly spread to my whole front, which I was completely unaware of. As they screamed so much, I just ripped the dressing gown off as it was super loose anyway, threw it to the floor, stood there completely naked to double check that suffocated all the flames, and shouted sorry as I ran back to my room to have a panic attack. I need to have a bit of trim. Some of my hair got singed. I went to minor injuries. They were amazed I had absolutely no blistering or anything wrong at all. I can only imagine how bad the flame must have been on my back. I didn't feel a single other flame on me. Thankfully not too bad to walk away completely unscathed. When I stood there naked, I did also see my boyfriend's dad run in, but all he must have seen was me naked looking at me dressing gown, which I'd argue was the most embarrassing moment as he ran away. My boyfriend then ate his eggy bread.
His eggy bread.
His eggy bread, as he didn't want me to be offended or upset if he didn't eat it. I wouldn't have been. Work gave him the rest of the day as a mental health day. Oh, other countries and their mental health days.
Oh god, our country's in shambles.
What makes it worse is that a month before, his sister, 21F, set something on fire in the microwave, which I swiftly sorted out. We joke about that, and now I'm much worse having set myself on fire.
Oh, that's fun.
So there you go. I like that comment. Nobody gives a shit if you're naked in a life or death situation.
It's like, girl,
Also-
you're on fire.
Don't tell OP, but moments of high adrenaline is when the memory is best. It's actually pretty likely they'll remember, very clearly. You really burned it into their minds. So, that's fun.
Send me content.
Yeah, one sec, yeah.
Alright.
Not that one. Maybe this one. Oh shit, that's the wrong one. No, that's the wrong link. Nope.
Nope.
Wrong link. One sec. There we go.
Alright. Oh, you just give me so many itis today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out the asshole for apparently being the cause of our trivia team breaking up and no longer playing together.
Not the trivia team!
Sorry, I had something stuck in my teeth. I go to a pub trivia with some friends. We've been a team for about 10 years. We all actually met at trivia when we belonged to different teams. Recently, one of the guys on the team got a new girlfriend and decided to bring her along, which was no problem, or so I thought. All night, she ends up disagreeing with basically all of our answers. The issue ended up being that her boyfriend is our team scribe because he's the only one with neat handwriting. So after being outvoted a few times on her answers, she starts with the, write my answer down or you know what you're not getting when we... Oh, God. One of these bitches.
Oh,
or you know what you're not getting when we get
threatening
home.
lack of sex!
Well, no prize for guessing what he does. And we end up going from getting almost every question right to getting almost everything wrong. Before the final round, there is a bonus question. You get to gamble as many of your points as you want on the bonus question. Now, we're really far behind, so we choose to gamble all of our points.
I just want to point out the irony that he had to not score to score.
Holy shit. We all agree on the answer except her. Hers is written down. It's wrong. One of the interesting things at this trivia is that there's a mystery prize for any team that manages to get a first. Previous firsts are written on a board. A final score of 1 is one of the firsts. I point out that if we purposefully get 0 as our overall score for the night, we'll get a first and get the mystery prize. Everyone on the team starts laughing and agrees we should do it. Except her. She wants us to try our best for some reason. So they come around and hand out the cards for the final round, and I jump up and take it. I ask, and everyone except him and her agrees that I can be the scribe. She announces that she won't be part of something lame and walks off. We end up getting 0 for the round because we don't write anything. The overall scores are read out and she returns. The host announces that we have achieved the first of a 0 score overall and brings over the mystery box. It's chocolate. She says she's claiming it, so I jump in first and grab it and say it's a team prize, so we need to decide how to split it. She is staring daggers at me. I ask everyone multiple times if they want to share. They all say no, including her boyfriend. I then say, I love this chocolate, so I'm keeping it. She goes bug-eyed and demands her share. Oh, now she cares!
Mm-hmm.
In a calm voice, I tell her that she's been rude to us all night, refused to take part in getting 0, and so she doesn't deserve it. I love how
You didn't try to not try hard enough.
You didn't agree to suck as hard as we did. On purpose. Everyone else doesn't want to get involved and leaves. He's now blocked all of us on everything, and the team are now saying I went too far. I should have understood that she's his girlfriend and should have just shared it with her. Everyone but one voted to kick me out of the team, so now we've formed a breakaway team. I think they're all overreacting and ending this. The other team didn't even speak to us at the last trivia, because we've been going over to each other's houses for game nights, etc. for years, and now it's all over. So am I the asshole? No, what the fuck is wrong with your friend's girlfriend? God damn, she's the one who ruined all this shit for you.
This is a classic example of how people can get away with shit because whoever rocks the boat and calls them out on it ends up taking the brunt of the blame for everything.
Yeah, I hate fucking shit like this.
It's really unfair, and I don't quite understand the psychology.
Needed to get called out.
I don't quite understand the psychology of why this happens, but sometimes people will just let people get away with shit as long as they don't have to rock the boat, and whoever does rock the boat
disrupt the status quo.
Yeah, and whoever does rock the boat, even if they're completely justified in doing so, gets everyone's scorn for it.
Ugh.
It's just one of those unfortunate things that happens.
Yeah.
Not the asshole.
Second top comment. That girl has some clear problems in her head. Your friends sound like shitty friends, especially the boyfriend, who is clearly easy to manipulate, except the one guy. So just be happy that you got out of that group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was just a really bad time. Oof.
Yeah. Yeah. Take solace that if it wasn't this, it might have been something else.
Yeah, this seems like a friend group that was going to break apart at one point or another at some point. It just, the girlfriend ended up being the deciding factor here.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, but I guess how it happens sometimes.
Mm-hmm. So, I have a post from our entitled people.
Woohoo! That's a new one.
Guess what this is about? Entitled people.
Gee, I couldn't guess.
The title of the post goes, "You're still bi? I thought you'd grow out of that once we started dating. Entitled mummy breaks up with me for laughing at her son."
I'm sorry. Continue.
This is the second time now getting cheated on has led to me being dumped. At least this time it wasn't totally baffling. The first time can be read about on my profile, also to my followers waiting on the end result of Creepy Lunger. The court date is set for July. I'll update you later. This person's busy on Reddit. Maybe I'll look into that. I don't know. I like how she's giving status updates about different drama. Anyway. So I've been dating this guy for about 4 months now. He's not my usual type, but he's very naive and sheltered, whereas my life has been a joyous ride and ride of how in the name of flapjacks did I survive that bullshit. I can tell you're giving status updates on other drama. Anyway, he's nice and funny. We met at university, and for the most part it was fine. There are a few red flags, like his mom still, another British person, like his mom still irons and folds his undies.
Okay,
and
no, please don't.
But let's be real, people in their early 20s still living at home, it's not even a shocking thing anymore. I just think it's a bit psychotic to iron socks, but hey, that's just me. Why would you iron socks?
I don't know.
Kevin, give me a reason. Kevin, I want an essay on why you should iron socks on my desk by Monday.
I don't iron socks.
But you seem really defensive of people who do. So
no, I'm just saying I wouldn't say psychotic, but it is weird.
Anyway, on Saturday, he went out for a lads night with his friends, the lads, and he hooks up with a girl. They have sex, and yesterday she messaged me on Facebook basically saying, "Sorry, I was drunk and slept with your boyfriend. I had no idea he was in a relationship. I'm really sorry." I was fine with it. Thought it was nice for her to reach out and let me know. She's really cool. We chatted for a bit. Decided to grab a Costa together on Thursday. I don't know what that is. I like talking to her, and we have a lot in common. This is completely platonic. I mentioned in my last post, monogamy isn't really my thing. Unless we've had a discussion and agree to be monogamous, I don't care. I don't tend to sleep with people in general. I have a low sex drive due to the pure exhaustion and cancer, so...
Cancer?
This person's got a lot going on.
Clearly. Holy shit.
So
I wasn't
if you
expecting
want it...
cancer to make a surprise appearance.
Nah, nobody expects cancer.
Nobody expects
truly.
the cancer.
So if you want it, and I'm not up for it, go get it somewhere else. I don't care. Just use condoms. Don't be with the same person multiple times, because there is a difference between casual sex and multiple relationships. He gets home, and I casually mention she messaged me, and we've been talking, and reassure him that I don't mind that he slept with someone else. I would just prefer in the future he wears a condom, and hope he wouldn't mind getting tested before we sleep together again. He was fine with all that, and was really surprised how well I took it. But I had discussed my feelings on monogamy with him before we started dating, so it wasn't like a massive shock, like it was to the last prat. This person's got a backstory.
Clearly.
Then I make an offhanded joke saying, next time you decide to sleep with a hot girl, let me know, and if I'm up for it, maybe we can turn it into a threesome. It was said jokingly, and 100%. I was 100% joking, and he said, "Why would you want to sleep with another girl?" This is where the overall stupidity kicks in. I remind him I am bisexual, and he says exactly what it says in the title. With a really confused face, he says, "You're still bi? I thought you grew out of that when we started dating." And he follows this up with, "Me mum said you would because bisexuality is just a phase." I'm assuming that's the accent he said it in. I have no idea. I face planted, like, threw my hand to my forehead so hard my butt jiggled from the force of the slap. It was just so ridiculously stupid for a 24-year-old male in 21st century Britain to be saying these kinds of things. I know you're naive, but do you not watch TV? Do you not go on social media? What in the name of RuPaul do you think sexuality is at 24 to think bisexuality is a phase?
What in the name of RuPaul?
I don't know what to say. I stood looking at him like he just sprouted another head out of his armpit. I may point out, this guy is doing a bachelor's in sociology. A course I did for undergraduate, and I know that sexuality and gender are two things very much covered in any sociology course.
Yeah.
I was floored. It took me a few minutes to regain my composure and realized I had two options. Laugh at the sheer ridiculousness of a 24-year-old male having not only discussed my sexuality with his mother, but also believed that she told him I'd grow out of it. Or I could try to explain sexuality to an adult sociology student. I knew the status of my relationship was at stake with whichever decision I made. I contemplated hard, and then I laughed so hard my bladder nearly burst. Sorry. That's not the mature decision, but you know what? I don't care. It was freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
He had said it with such honest innocence. Look, I can live with his mom ironing his socks. I can live with his mom still buying his clothes and taking him to get a haircut, because honestly, I have my own shortcomings. And if he can tolerate those, I can tolerate his. But I will not live with someone being so clueless about sexuality. Maybe I'm the entitled one here. Maybe I have too high expectations of people. But hey, ho. He, of course, got mad that I laughed at him. He started shouting, and I kid you not, he managed to fit "me mum said that, but me mom is" into one 45-ish second monologue 7 times. I will do a lot of things for love, but I won't compete with his mummy. Frankly, I just didn't feel enough for him to even try. He grabbed his backpack, called his mum to come get him, and left. That night, after chatting with the girl he slept with and laughing some more, his mother sent me this text. I got to put on my most obnoxious British woman voice for this. I cannot believe you would humiliate my son like that. You selfish, stupid little bitch. You are a fat, ugly slut who's using bisexuality, spelled just like that, by the way, as an excuse to whore around. I know your type, and you've just thrown away the best thing you'll ever have with my son. My son deserves way better than you fat little slut like you. You are scum. We will be coming tomorrow to get the rest of his things from your house, and I will be bringing my brother to deal with you. If you try to pull anything, he knows how to deal with the trash. If you try and steal anything, I will call the police. You had better be there when we get there, you scum.
Man, girl, you were not going to be able to salvage that relationship no matter what you did.
So, yeah. Not only did his mother break up with me for him, though I pretty much expected the breakup, she also called me some lovely names.
Yeah, apparently you're a slut, a whore, a scum, and a bitch.
Unfortunately, I couldn't be there. I had to text her back asking what time she'd be coming, ignoring everything else, and she didn't respond. No way in Hades was I waiting around all day for this lunatic, her brother, and her son to turn up for his laptop, toothbrush, and some random bits of clothes. That brings me to this morning. I'd popped all his stuff in a bag and just left it by the front door, except his laptop, which was on the table next to the front door, just because I didn't want to break it. I do the school run for my sister every morning because she doesn't drive. Off we go at 8:20 a.m. We drop my gorgeous little nephew off at school at 8:50, get home for 9:30, having stopped at the shop on the way home as my sister needed to pick up a few bits from the boyo. Guess who's there waiting outside my front door? If you'd guessed the tantruming trio, you'd be right. If you'd guessed the police, you'd also be right. Most logical people would go, she's not home. Guess we'll have to wait or come back later. But entitled mum with serious emotional incest issues, she's not... Oh, she's not in. We should break into her house. I get there, and this witch is handcuffed in the back of a police car. My double glazed stained glass window pane that has a rose decoration broken into sections of bits of metal. Looks like it's gone 3 rounds with a rock because it had. And my ex's uncle is shouting at the officer that I'm a thief and they were just coming to get what was my ex's. The officer reminds him that even if they were trying to retrieve his property, breaking and entering is still a crime. The police officer that approaches me and says, "Good morning, miss. This gentleman says you had arranged for them to collect some young man's possessions this morning. Is this true?" I replied with, "No, X's mom sent me this message last night, show my phone," and did not reply with a time, but X knows I do the school run every day, so I'm not sure why they chose to do it now. The officer reads over my phone, he calls over his colleague, they go over to the witch in cuffs, they ask, "Witch, what did you mean when you told this girl your brother will deal with her?" Witch just starts. She just stops. She just starts calling her witch. The witch starts to babble. Brother got very quiet. X just looks lost. Also, brother is basically the same height as me, and I have more fat in one butt cheek than he does in his entire body. So I could definitely take him. I'm just completely bemused by this point. The officers come back and explain because she was caught in the act by police of attempted breaking into my house, I don't have a choice about pressing charges, and ask if I'd like to add harassment and making threats to my list. I'm in the middle of a court case already due to the certain lunger. Oh yeah, the other guy, the stalker, I guess. I don't know. Really, don't have much mental capacity right now, so I decline. They take pictures of the damage, not that there was much. I give them the excess stuff so he can leave, and off they go. Once I cleaned the window, there's a tiny crack on the outside glass that didn't really affect the front pane. I'm now 15 stone lighter and getting a little flirty with the girl he slept with on Saturday. What am I taking away from this relationship? Well, if mummy irons his undies, regardless of age, run fast and far, and preferably with a pretty brunette in the future. Hope you enjoyed. Wish me luck tomorrow for my maybe not so platonic coster with the girl he cheated on me with.
Good
Lord. This is a fucking cartoon.
Yeah. That's one way to fucking put it.
It's a good. It's a good story, though.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. But wow, the witch. Just waited until she left. I love how it's like, I don't know why she would wait until I was gone. You know exactly why she waited until you were gone. Oh my god,
that was a funny story. My mouth is dry.
Yeah, and I'm starting to get a little sore. So how about we do one more Aita and then we do the lightning round?
Yeah. Maybe not that one. Let's see here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you noticed, but we went like well over an hour and a half talking about Shana.
And the funny thing is, I know I'm gonna think of things I didn't say later and be like, "Ah, damn it!
No,
not comprehensive enough. Ah, damn it." Okay, let's go. Fuck it, Kevin. Fuck it. Let's go with this one.
Okay. Am I the asshole for giving my daughter a stuffed bear filled with human hair? I'm gonna need a second. Okay. My 33 male wife, 31 female, and I just had our daughter, our first child, 3 months ago. My family has a tradition where the firstborn will get a special stuffed animal. I got one from my mother when I was born, who got one from her mother, who got one from her father, and so on and so on.
Who won it in a game of Mahjong.
The reason that it's special is because the stuffing is made from their parents' hair. That is
very special.
Very special, yes. Not the wording I was going for. The way it works is that once a child is old enough to start getting their hair cut, their parent will save as much of that hair as they can. When the child becomes a parent themselves, the new grandparent will use the saved hair to make a stuffed animal to give to the baby? Y'all are weird. Y'all are just weird. The hair in the toy represents the new parent's connection to the child and is a tangible measure that shows that they'll always be close by. The care taken by the new grandparent in collecting the hair and using it to make the toy represents the child's connection to its family history and is a tangible measure that shows the extended family will always support them. This sounds like a cult.
I know, I love it.
This sounds like a cult.
I love it. I wish I came up with a cult that does this.
In short, the stuffed animal is a way of connecting the new life to their family.
I want to steal this for something. I don't know for what, but I want to steal this.
After my daughter was born, my mother spent a lot of time making a stuffed bear from scratch to fill with my childhood hair. She just finished last week. Since my leave from work is just about over, I was excited to give my daughter the bear and share the tradition with my wife. I thought she would think it was sweet, but she blew up at me. Yeah, I wonder why!
I love how this is the first fucking spouse in this entire family line who goes, wait a minute, this is weird!
In all of these generations, this is the first one who's like, hold up.
This has gone back at least like 5 or 6 generations. How is no spouse ever went, huh, that's weird, before now?
Instead of liking the bear, my wife said it was gross and disgusting and that she wouldn't have it around her daughter. I told her that it's our daughter, not hers, and that there's nothing disgusting about my family's tradition. Are you sure about that? She said it was unhygienic. I told her that it's not. The hair is clean and well preserved. We argued, and eventually she said that if I ever put that thing near her daughter, she would throw it in the trash. I was shocked. This is something that represents decades of my mother's work and planning and generations of my family's history. I told my wife that if she's so cruel and callous about something that means so much to me and my family, then she's not the person I thought she was. She has called my family's tradition weird and culty. She's right! I didn't know what to do. I didn't think my wife was this kind of person. I told my mother about the fight, and now she's feuding with my wife too. My wife then got her family involved before calling me some vulgar names. But am I really an asshole for wanting to give my special girl, her special bear?
I like top comment. No assholes here. I understand this is emotionally meaningful to you, but it's also fairly objectively pretty fucking weird.
Pretty much. I'm just baffled. I don't think anybody's necessarily an asshole here. It's just, this is finally the generation where somebody married someone else and realized, wait a minute, this is fucking weird.
Someone points out.
Go ahead.
Go on. Sorry, it's unusual, but it's not unhygienic or disgusting. Human and animal hair has long been used to stuff furnishings and toys, and human hair has also been used in personal keepsakes like love tokens and mourning jewelry.
Yeah, that's fair. It's just, it's weird to me because this is not something I'm used to.
Yeah, someone says, my parents used to have a Victorian leather couch stuffed with horsehair. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, oh, God. I know why it's weird. I know why it's weird. It's because this is the kind of stuff that you would expect out of like old antiques from like generations and generations long gone.
Mm-hmm.
Back when, like, you know, cotton wasn't really a thing. People knew how to effectively, you know, clean and utilize as stuffing for bears and shit. And like, this is probably a generation. Ah, fuck. This is probably something that like spans probably hundreds of years back in the family lineage at this point. So like,
yeah,
I can understand where it came from, but it's just a little weird to me that OP doesn't realize that by modern standards and for like the regular person, the layman, this is pretty bizarre. And you probably shouldn't have treated it as a given that, oh, she'll think it's adorable. It's like, you need to kind of approach the other person on their level.
This is kind of like a more extreme version of the poop knife story.
The poop knife. Thank you for reminding me of the poop knife.
Anyway, Densiak says, just because it's strange doesn't mean she has the right to be cruel, and your wife was being cruel. I think Her emotions are valid, but her choice of reaction is not. She was harsh and insulting when she should have been respectful.
Admittedly,
Wanting to keep it at Grandma's house because it makes them uncomfortable is valid, but calling his family weird and culty is not.
Man, oh god, am I an asshole?
New segment, is Kevin the asshole?
I was the one who said it was a cult before they brought it up, so...
Yeah. Families have traditions, and, like, this is, like, harmless. It is. It's weird, but it's perfectly harmless, and, like, I think her reaction is a bit extreme.
Yeah.
I still think you should probably know, if you're gonna marry someone, I feel like you should know them at least well enough to know about their weird cultish family traditions before that point.
Yeah, like,
what are these people do? What are these people doing in the courtship phase that they don't know this about themselves yet?
Yeah, like, you probably should know about this by now.
I know we're not the best people to give advice, but y'all are dating wrong. I just want to make that clear. Don't get it twisted, as Obama once said.
Don't get it twisted.
I love this. Does the kid get a rattler filled with dad's baby teeth too? Don't give them ideas.
I do like that Reddit also agrees that this is kind of weird.
Yeah.
It is weird.
It's weird. It's weird, but it's harmless, and the wife clearly overreacted. I'm just gonna say not the asshole, because I think her feelings are valid. If she had just expressed discomfort normally, I'd say no assholes here, but she kind of took it far.
A little bit, yeah.
So not the asshole. All right, it's time for the lightning round.
Woo!
This is where we go to our unpopular opinion and look at unpopular opinions. Are these opinions unpopular? Are they not? Do we agree? Do we disagree? Let's get to it. Unpopular opinion. I'd rather get my teeth pulled and have fake teeth for the rest of my life than deal with natural teeth. I don't think you want that as bad as you think you do.
I don't think you want that as bad as you think you do.
I've had that same line of reasoning, and I've talked to my dentist about it, and there are drawbacks to having fully artificial teeth that you just don't think about.
Yeah.
It sounds... Maybe one day we'll get there. Maybe one day we'll all be rocking titanium chompers, but for now there are a lot of drawbacks, and it's better to take care of the teeth you have.
Hello, I'm gonna open up a titanium chompers. I'm gonna open up a dentist's office that does that shit, and I'm gonna call it Teethtanium.
Yeah, there you go. Look at Kevin thinking he'll ever start a business. It's adorable. It's adorable. That said, I have 2 gold teeth, and that objectively makes me more baller. So
true. It makes you more gangster.
Yeah, I know.
Walk up in the club like, what up? I got 2 gold teeth.
Yeah, I am legally allowed to point a gun sideways. I just want you to know that. I have the street cred for that now. Actually, I have for years. I've had these teeth for a while.
He turned the gun sideways. Oh no!
The classic Family Guy clip. I'm not scared of you. Oh yeah? What if I turn it sideways like a black guy? Ah! Anyway. Unpopular opinion, wearing a bra is more comfortable than not wearing one. I don't have an opinion on this.
Yeah, I don't have boobs.
Yeah, sorry. We're not... Yeah, I don't know why they wrote in with this. We can't give opinions on this.
Yeah, sorry.
Yep. Unpopular opinion, basic hygiene should be taught in elementary/middle school. Now, for me it was though, right? Like,
yeah.
Did you not have all the posters saying wash your hands and make sure to clean up after yourself?
We were literally like, there was literally like this one day in like, I think like 2nd or 3rd grade where we were given this glow in the dark solution that was rubbed on our hands, and we had to wash it off. Like, we had to scrub off as much as we could. And if you managed to get like a certain amount of it off, then that meant you were cleaning it like you were cleaning your hands well. Yeah. So like, it's already... Does that not happen anymore?
I don't know. Maybe it was just our schools. I remember being taught that though. I remember, yeah. I mean, like, there were posters. They always reminded us, wash your hands. You know, if you've been outside, brush yourself off or whatever. And like, it's,
Wash your
I
hands,
remember. I
stay in
think
school, your
Yeah.
teeth.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah. So I think, again, when it comes to what is or isn't taught in schools, it's highly variable. Everything is state-based or district-based. So I mean, like,
Yeah.
people are always talking about how they had to sing the national anthem every fucking morning. I never had to do that. I don't know what they're talking about.
Wow, you're lucky. Not only did I have to stand to the national anthem every day, but there was one year where my homeroom teacher played different celebrity renditions of the national anthem
Wow.
on his phone,
Whoa.
and we had to stand there and salute the damn flag while that played. And there was one from, like, I think Mariah Carey or whatever that's, like, especially bad because it goes on for, like, 2.5 minutes that he kept
It's Mariah Carey.
because he kept threatening us with it if we kept misbehaving. And one time we actually did have to stand there the entire 2.5 minutes while Mariah Carey just belted out in the background.
Yeah,
And all of us were just like, oh god, we're never doing this again.
I'm always weirded out when people like, everyone acts like it's super common to salute the flag every day with the Pledge of Allegiance, but I moved around a lot as a kid. By the time I graduated high school, I had gone to like 6 different schools. I don't recall that ever happening outside of like the occasional assembly, ever. Like, I feel like that only ever happened to like assemblies and stuff. It was definitely not every day.
Yeah, no, it was every day in school for me, like every school that okay, except for high school. Like,
that's so weird because none of my schools did that. None of the I asked when this was like really trending on Twitter, I asked like my siblings that. They went to like a different set of schools than me because we moved around so much, and they said they never did it either. So I don't know where the fuck this is happening.
Oh my god! Wow.
Maybe like in Bible Belt territory. I don't know. Where did you go to school?
Florida and Arizona.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Florida especially. That
Florida
makes sense.
especially, yeah.
Yep.
It happened the most in Florida, but it definitely also happened in Arizona.
Unpopular opinion: having stuffed animals in bed as an adult is awesome and shouldn't be looked at as childish.
Yes.
Did the other guy write this? Did the hair guy write this?
No, funny. See, here's the thing. I'm an adult, so I have graduated into body pillows.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And those weird, like, what are those plushes called, the anime girls, where it's like a big head with the arms sticking out, and that's kind of just what it is?
Nessaberries.
Nessaberries?
Yeah.
Why is it called that?
I don't know.
Okay. Anyway.
I actually have a Tanjiro Nessaberry.
Now this one was a whole fucking rabbit's hole, but unpopular opinion: deaf parents who refuse to get their medically eligible deaf child a cochlear implant are as bad as a parent that would refuse to get their child's broken leg fixed. It is neglect.
What?
And what I've learned from this rabbit hole that I went down is that there is an entire deaf community that actively resents their non-deaf children for not being like them.
Oh my.
And if they have the medical option to get a cochlear implant, they will actively refuse to get their children implants because they want them to be just like them. The deaf, what I've learned through research and testimonials through the people who lived in like deaf communities is that the deaf community is weird.
You've heard of death cults, now get ready for deaf cults.
What?
I said, you've heard of death cults, now
I haven't heard of anything. That's the point.
I said.
But no, like, it's actually really creepy, and it's like, it's almost like
It is
imagine,
really weird, and I don't like it at all.
Imagine that you're a paraplegic and you don't have legs, and so you want to break your child's legs off so they can be like you.
Yeah, that's just fucked up. Like,
Yeah.
massively fucked up.
There's some fucking problems going on in the deaf community. You know, we need to stop worrying about the guy whose family tradition is passing around a teddy bear with human hair in it.
Okay,
we
yeah,
need to
no,
really start
that's
worrying.
comparatively normal. This is just fucked up.
We need to worry about the deaf people trying to keep deafness in the bloodline. We got to worry about this shit. This is the real cult shit.
Deafness in the bloodline.
This is the real cult shit. Anyway, unpopular opinion: preferring crispy bacon is the same thing as liking your steak well done.
No.
You don't want to formulate a complicated argument about that. Just
No.
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 Just no. Okay. Yeah.
No, it doesn't deserve one. I'm
I'm
not dignifying it with a response longer than one word. No.
Yeah. Okay. I get it. Unpopular opinion: the fact that Velcro laced shoes are viewed as childish and not readily available for adults is annoying.
I agree.
It's annoying, and it's also a little bit ableist.
It is. Fucking. Some people have really bad motor skills due to, like, you know, physical or nervous, like, debilitating diseases and shit, and they have a hard time with tying their shoes. Velcro and slip-on shoes are really, really useful for people like that.
Yeah. Also, it's just cool. Like you slap it on, it sticks. You take it off, it doesn't. It's Velcro's awesome. It's cool.
And when you take it off, it makes that cool sound.
Yeah, it's badass, man. More Velcro, please.
It's so dynamic. Like, God, I'm reminded of that scene in the Scott Pilgrim movie where Scott does this, like, entire suit-up sequence, and then it just stops for, like, 30 seconds as he slowly ties his shoes.
Unpopular opinion: being a hardcore fan of fictional characters makes way more sense than being a hardcore fan of real people.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we of all people would agree with that. So you know.
Yeah.
Unpopular opinion: being greeted by store employees as soon as I walk in is like fingernails on a chalkboard to me.
It's whatever. It's fine.
I don't mind being greeted. What I mind is when they just constantly walk up like, you know, find anything? You lost little fucking baby? You want to find shit?
Yeah, if it's just like, hi, welcome to Walmart. Would you like a face covering, or can I help you get a card or something? Like, that's fine.
No, yeah. Now the reason they greet people is so that the reason they do it is so that you know you are seen. It's like it's a tactic to reduce shoplifting.
Yeah.
Basically. Which doesn't make any sense because the greeter's not going to be stalking you the whole time, you know. But I guess psychologically it does something. I don't mind being greeted, but I do mind when people just bother me when I'm looking at shit, especially if I've been there before. Like the 500th time I've been to a GameStop, I don't need you to ask if I need to find anything.
Yeah.
You've seen me here dozens of times. I know where everything is.
You know I know where everything is.
I know it better than you do.
Maybe I should work here.
Yeah, when I was at the height of my PS3 collecting, I knew the store better than they did. I would actively tell them things I knew they had that they didn't know they had. So, you know.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I randomly booted up Tumblr. 5 vibrators that treat your clit like a pigeon getting sucked into a jet engine.
So it'll kill you?
I guess.
Unpopular opinion: glazed donuts are disgusting.
You're disgusting, OP. Fuck you. Glazed donuts are delicious.
I've said it before. As soon as someone invents a crossbreed between a sour cream glazed donut and a regular eclair, it's just over for me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's just over. I'm gonna be tonight's Biggest Loser. That's the sour cream donuts, Kevin. I don't know how to describe how good they are. Cause like it's like a crunch. It's not really a crunch though. It's just such an appealing texture.
Yeah, it's got like this nice kind of cakey breadiness.
That soft crunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, like clusters. So good. It's like anything that has like just like a soft crunch, you know, like when like bits when you're baking like chicken strips or whatever, and like little tiny bits or like on the pan and you eat like little tiny bits of crispy. It's so good. So good.
So good. I love it. It's so good.
We're skipping past the fondant one. I talked about that on Twitter.
Yeah.
Not a real opinion. That's bait. It's bait.
Bait.
Someone's baiting us. I don't know.
Fondant tastes like sugary leather.
Mm-hmm. My alternative tweet was, "Did the cake boss write this post?" I don't even think he likes fun, and he just has to use it to make the kind of shit he makes.
Yeah.
Hold on. Nah, okay. Unpopular opinion: snooze features on alarm clocks are dumb.
Nah.
I kind of agree, because I feel like what is the point, Kevin? Because like what you're really saying is, I'm not ready to get up yet. But like, if that's the case, you're not going to be ready in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
like,
no. Like
you-
a
you-
good
you either-
snooze
you-
function should be like 10-15 minutes, not 5.
That's not enough time for another sleep cycle, though. If you're awake, Kevin.
Yeah.
I think it's dumb because like it doesn't help you. If you need more sleep, you need more sleep. That's just how it goes. Getting that extra 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes, not gonna do shit. You're not gonna actually fall asleep again. And if you do fall asleep again, then the alarm clock has not served its function because you've missed whatever alarm you set.
Yeah.
So like either you don't fall asleep again, and you've just laid still for 10 minutes for no reason, not really achieving what you want, still needing more sleep, or you've fallen asleep again and missed your alarm. So yeah, I do think the snooze feature is kind of pointless, because like
Yeah.
in either situation,
I never use it, so.
yeah, me neither. So like, yeah, it's just kind of pointless. Yeah, I mean, like, I guess it's fine for like things other than sleeping. Like if you have a snooze function on like an app or something, like if you set a timer for baking something and it's not quite ready,
Yeah.
and you just hit snooze, like, oh, I'll check it again in 5 minutes. Like that's fine. But for sleeping, the actual snoozing part of the snooze feature, it is pretty dumb.
Yeah, I'll admit that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Unpopular opinion: the reason so many people today find dating hard is because they're taught they don't need to compromise.
Yeah.
I think it goes beyond dating. I think the reason, like, I think even on a friendship level, people have a hard time compromising these days.
They do. It's like everyone has this my way or the highway mentality. It's like you do what I want, or this isn't going to work out. Like that's not how a good relationship works.
I don't want to make this a generational thing, but I'm noticing this more and more with the Zoomers, where it's like they have such strict criteria for friendships.
They really do. Yeah.
And it's like we've experienced that firsthand, where we have broken off from people that just have this incessant need like to not compromise. I think this mentality that you can only be around people that fully accept everything about you is very toxic and encourages people generally to just not self-reflect. I feel like not compromising actually further insulates people's negative traits.
Yeah.
And just turns them into worse people. The ability to compromise and deal with other people, even if you don't love every single thing about them, is what makes everyone that involves themselves in such a relationship a better person. So yes, I agree.
Yep.
Unpopular opinion: saying people that passed away are watching over you is the opposite of comforting. Yeah. Yeah. If you really think about it.
God, imagine you're just cranking it in your room and suddenly you just remember Grandma is watching.
Well, okay, so when people say that, I'm assuming they don't mean like all the time,
I know. It's just... Oh my god. No, I can see where OP is coming from. Oh man.
Unpopular opinion: modern education system only prepares you to live from paycheck to paycheck. Yes, and it's that way by design.
It does is further our current capitalistic mentality.
Yes, it is all. That is all. The whole system is by design. It's not an accident that happens. 'Cause, 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 'cause Unpopular opinion: a show's protagonist being accused of a crime they didn't commit is a terrible trope. It's a trope. It can be done well or badly.
JoJo Part 6 does it pretty well.
Unpopular opinion: I hate restaurants that constantly change their menus.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that either. Because if I go to a restaurant, I want to know... After a point, I want to know what I can expect out of a restaurant. And if they're constantly changing up their offerings, and stuff is constantly, like, you know, coming in and out, then that's really annoying because I need to constantly... I can't just sit down and be like, oh, I'll have this, this, and this, because I don't know if they'll have this, this, or this. They might not have any of it. So
yeah,
it's just really annoying and really obnoxious for the consumer end.
Yeah. Unpopular opinion: orange chocolate is disgusting. Oh, I love orange chocolate.
Orange chocolate is the fucking shit.
Yeah. We are pro orange chocolate. Unpopular opinion: green tea with sugar is disgusting. Green tea with too much sugar, sure, but just a little bit is fine. A
small amount of sugar just to like bring out the sweetness a little bit, bring out the flavor. That's fine. Just don't overdo it.
Yeah. Okay, I gotta read this one for more details. What is the unpopular opinion? I hate certain dog breeds for no reason. I have an irrational dislike of curly-haired dogs, big and small. I don't know why. They just irritate me. Poodles, even terriers, etc. I even dislike Maltese. Maybe it's a rich people dog thing, but regardless, they all annoy the fuck out of me no matter how sweet and good they are. Pomeranians are amusing, but they get old for me fast. I have a strong like of larger short-haired dogs. I try to tolerate small breeds like Chihuahuas and Dachshunds, with the exception of pugs. I do love me some pugs.
To be fair,
I know they get a bad rap, but I'd totally get a pit bull if I raised it from birth. Everyone loves Labradors, of course. If you ask me about a dog breed, I'll probably have strong opinions on it either way. I think my theory, OP has reincarnated. They were a small animal at one point, and they may have been eaten by a curly-haired dog, and this fear has influenced them in their next life.
OP is a mouse.
OP was a mouse.
OP was a mouse.
So that's my theory. But yeah. Kevin, we should do an episode at one point where we just rate dog breeds. That'd be cool.
Hashtag dog rates episode.
Yeah. Do you have strong dog breed opinions?
I do have some strong opinions on some dog breeds.
I'm gonna add that to the list. We should do that.
Yeah.
But
that
not this
like
episode.
Fun.
But not this episode. Some other episode.
Some other time. Some other place.
This episode is over!
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Kevin, I'm hungry.
Yeah, fair. To be fair, it is like 6:24, so.
Yeah. So, this has been the bakagaijinshow. You can join in on the conversation by emailing us at bakagaijinshow@gmail.com or by joining our official Discord server in the link provided below. You also have the pleasure, nay, the privilege, of following us on Twitter.com. Twitter.com/ZekeFreak and Twitter.com/CShortmanderK. You can like, comment, and subscribe. You get all of it. We appreciate it.
We do. Thank you.
The likes, the comments, the subscriptions. We notice you. We see you. We're like a deceased relative. We're always watching you.
Again, some people don't consider that comforting.
Yeah, you watch us. We watch you. We're watching each other. Who's flying the plane? We don't know. But it's been the Baka Gaijin Show. Zeke freak out. Ciao, ciao for now.